You guys didn't find my drugs that were in my ass, so that's good.
I'm sure you had some wild ass, some fucking bathtub drugs you made yourself or something.
But there's a lot of ways to choke people. Like, we could use this cord. We're the pawns. Whether you're in war, what I realized is the people we're fighting, we're on the same level. You're almost on the same level as the people you're policing. It's the puppet masters.
I saw both sides.
Who you are, and we know who you are. We're back, finally, with season 2 of To Hold You. Welcome to our show, episode 1. Have an exciting episode today. I have Jake Belay. I have Robbie. I think you're going to like these guys if you don't already know who they are. We're kind of going to bro out here a little bit today and talk about, as a former law enforcement officer, as a former soldier, and myself as a former soldier, topics in that vein. And we'll see how season 2 shapes up, because some of the early episodes, the next episode is going to tie into mental health too. But yeah, no topics are off limits as usual on To Hold You. Might talk some bullshit politics, or hopefully nothing that gets us kicked off of YouTube finally. But we do have a Rumble channel just in case. Might be some Rumble only exclusives in there. But yeah, I just want to kick it off by throwing it to you, Jake. We've known each other for, I don't know, a few years.
2-3 years, yeah.
We've had some coffee dates when you were thinking about leaving the Des Moines Police Department and becoming a real estate agent initially, and now you have a coaching, can I call it coaching?
Yeah.
All right. You have a coaching thing that you're doing now, which is gaining more traction, and that's why I wanted to have you on to talk about that as well. Why don't you give us like a little, I don't know, little summary introduction about yourself?
Yeah, so I was actually leaving the West Des Moines Police, not the Des Moines Police, but other than that, he pretty much nailed it. Yeah, I was a cop for a total of about 9 years. Most of that was in Iowa City, and the last couple of years were in West Des Moines. After leaving, recognized in myself I wasn't okay pretty quick. Didn't really know why. Eventually figured out it was PTSD and ADHD and a lot of the things that tend to affect soldiers and cops that aren't talked about very much, and took me a really, really long time to figure out what to do about it. Took me a long time to figure out what it was, and then an even longer time to figure out what to do about it, and then a really long time to feel good. And that's why I started the coaching thing. I don't know that that's necessarily the long-term play, but I became super motivated to just help other people not suffer for as long as I did and not nearly lose everything good in their life, which is what happened to me. But yeah, on a lighter note, I still sell houses. I still have a real estate license. I am sort of losing steam on that a little bit, because I just am so much more fulfilled by spreading the message about PTSD and talking about things that nobody wants to talk about.
I think the real estate thing for you, because obviously we had a lot of conversations through that transition, and then on the real estate side, you were kind of a beta tester for Ultimum as well. Like, we were trying to do some CRM setup and some other business technology things, and we're fuddling around and learning it because we reoriented ourselves around helping local small businesses like last year. And we're actually in Ultimum HQ right now, our new office space here at Elevator Co-working, which is great. So right now we got it set up for the podcast. I might have like some other clients and stuff come in and kind of use some of, like, leave it set up. Some of the people in the building might even like use, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I'm going to leave it kind of set up like this and use the space like this as we pound through season 2. But yeah, I mean, I think that the entrepreneur, when you got into entrepreneurship, it just unlocked your brain. We have this group of dudes that we call the Matrix Escape Artists. I mentioned it in season 1, which they're doing great things now too, by the way. Like, people that were like Yetmir that was on episode 2, Jet. Now he has GSD Energy, and we had another guy that was on the podcast that has a successful tent and event rental business. But we like talking about the grind. You're always grinding, and then we've had some deep conversations too. But I think that unlocked your mind when you got out of the force. Like,
yeah,
like, oh, I don't have to do this.
Yeah. It's I don't need to have a job and work for someone else. That's a big realization. And yeah, just be. You don't have to be a part of the matrix. It's exactly it.
If you're not working on some entrepreneurial thing in some way, and I love what you're doing now because it's actually helping people at the same time,
And
then you're a wage slave, period. Yeah, there's no other way around it.
Yeah.
If you are working for somebody and that's what you depend on, and it's just enough, typically, no matter how much you make, just to cover your home payment and your fucking groceries and stuff, like, that's what they used to give throughout history. Slaves used to get housing and food, right? So they could keep working. And that's like all you get as a wage slave. So.
And it's wild how many people just can't see it. It's like once you break out, then you want to try to like help other people see, like, you don't have to keep clocking in at a job. You just pick something, get a pressure washer, get a lawnmower, like just pick something and then you can do whatever you want. Like, for me, the freedom to explore what was wrong with me was great. And then now that I just feel like I do whatever I want most of the time.
There's nothing wrong with you, Jay.
Well, I had a couple screws loose. Yeah.
You have a couple screws just like everybody on this episode, which is why we...
Yeah.
But speaking of screws loose, Robbie, you're the craziest one on this podcast, probably, you think? Don't challenge me for the title.
But BA would probably say...
We'll compare stats later. You probably have me beat, though. So Robbie, we met through, I think I popped into Hinzo's, which I like to pop into Hinzo's and catch some rolls because they have nothing but monsters over there, and trained by Karsten, who was on, what episode was he on? But he's on season 1 if you guys want to watch it. Good overview. I learned a lot about him there. But he brought some high-level jiu-jitsu into town. We already have high-level jiu-jitsu at Des Moines Jiu-Jitsu, so he just magnified it and brought his style and completely trained people around his style, and they're all killers now. And I just found out, a white belt. I thought you were a blue belt.
No, this is a white still.
But we met there, I think, right? Just rolling at the gym, and I found out we're both in the 100 worst.
No, it's actually a funny story, and I remember it because it was funny. We met at a party, one of Carson parties.
Okay.
And I noticed you because of the cross rifles on your bicep, but I didn't say anything. I was wearing a Afghan war veteran hat, and so I was leaving, and you stopped me. You asked where I got that hat from, and kind of like that joking way. And so I think you said, "Did you find that hat at a thrift store?" I was like, to see that tattoo picture book, and then we shook hands, and we found out that we were actually both in the 101st Airborne, same time frame, different deployments. Don't think you were there just earlier than me.
What years were you in the 101st?
From 2007 to 2010.
Yeah. I was there from like the very end of 2006 to towards the end, like fall of 2009.
Yeah.
So we overlapped.
Yeah. Most of my time was in Afghanistan, I believe most years was in Iraq.
Yeah, I spent 14 months. Like, they would run us ragged and you were in Rakkasans, which if people are listening to this on the 101st, they'll get...
They're going to be super mad at you because we were not Rakkasan, we were Curry.
Oh, Curry. Yes. You weren't an asshole. You weren't Rakkasan, sorry.
3rd Brigade were then. Pakistan.
I was 1st Brigade. I think I get all these numbers right. Sometimes I feel like I'm lying when people are like asking me Army stuff. Just like with you, like, where did we meet? I'm like, I don't know, I've been hitting the head too much.
I went to Afghanistan 2008 to 2009. And then I guess I had some undiagnosed things that went on there. Got out early 2010. But had a bunch of buddies to what you get. And I think that's probably our biggest issue, which we dive into.
You're saying that your buddies deployed without you after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this at another one of Carson's parties. Because I told you, I was in Iraq for 14 months, did like 400 something combat missions. Not every combat mission is a combat mission. It's like, especially in Iraq at that time, like, was not too bad. But then we did a 14-month deployment, and then we had like 10 months off of deployment, and like 30 days of that, you're in the field. 30 days beforehand, you're training. And it's like they just ran you completely ragged. We were called No Slack Battalion, and they just ran us ragged. And my wife's like, I'm going to leave you, basically like pulled one of those, which we don't pull very often. We've been married now 18 years. We got married 3 days before I deployed to Iraq. So she's like, yeah, you're not going to come home to me. And I'm like, well, honestly, like you were the only kind of back of my mind thing that even made me want to like come home, So, and then I had the same issue with the Afghan, like we were going to a hot spot in Afghanistan, and I'm not sure if that's when you were there, but yeah, it was like I'm in college and it's like you're getting text message like so-and-so lost his legs, so-and-so's dead. And I'm in college and I'm like, this.
That's like the biggest, like that's like a technological curse, right? Because like, if it wasn't for Facebook, you would have had it known, right? Like that's not the issue.
I was getting text messages, but yeah, same difference.
I was following all the dudes because I think I was in MySpace with still a thing, so we would try to hit the MSR or the MWR Tuesday and jump on computers for MySpace to send the back on. But it was great. This Santoni.
I have another guy that's Army Afghan vet at Des Moines Jiu-Jitsu, and he's like, the Afghanistan, they were trained by, the Taliban was trained by the CIA, so they actually could fight. And I was like, so we just had the B or C or D team, whatever's left in Iraq, so it's like they were really actually fighting in Afghanistan.
Well, you could tell, like, at least in Afghanistan, I have very minimal experience, right? Like, I only did one tour. Yeah, it was that crazy, but doctors, people have done 5, 6, 7 tours overseas, right? Yeah, we could definitely tell who you got into it with. Like, if it was a 2-man squad team, pop RPGs off the side of the road, drop the RPG tubes around. But then, so yeah, you could find yourself in an L-shaped ambush. You're fighting through.
They're using real tactics.
Right, like that stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to fight peers.
Trying to get.
That's what's going on right now in the Ukraine-Russia thing, is like, it's peers fighting.
Yeah, that's scary, dude. Like, to be honest, that's scary. This, like, no sleep, right? Like, we were probably shooting. I couldn't tell you because I was a 4 tour, so I was entry. Yeah, done my fair share of missions, but I know we got over 1,500 call for fire missions logged, right? So we shot weapon through artillery rounds, mortar rounds, mainly mortars for us in Afghanistan. And about.
Did you guys break our record?
I don't know. I know we had 2 that were off the book, and so like our first 6 months was long range surveillance. So we were attached to a special forces team out of Germany. So basically, we were their outer security, right? Any time they went somewhere, we would just go pull security around them, set 360, and whenever they were done doing next CIA stuff, you'd back up and go home. If we were lucky, shit got crazy. But yeah, so we shot quite a bit overseas.
If you're lucky, shit got crazy. That's because that's the only thing that made us feel alive after a point, is be like, try and kill me, please.
Just let me do my job.
Yeah, please.
That's why the medics are the craziest. I just want to do it.
After you said that to me, I posted a reel about it. It's one of my most viewed and interacted with posts I've made to date. We were talking one day and you said something like that. Like, are we ever, something like, you'll never feel as alive again as you do when someone's trying to kill you, or something like that. And you asked that, and it's true, very true for veterans and also true for cops.
But I think one other thing we talked about was the difference. And you heard Robbie kind of downplay a little bit, like, I've done one deployment, and I kind of say the same thing. I'm like, I did one deployment with the like F team, like still saw some things, has some experiences, so to speak. But
yeah, anything a couple times, you know what I mean? But yeah, like we were hitting those guys that they were hitting in 2000.
But would you agree with me? Because this is what I said, Jake. Would you agree with me that it would be weird? Like, we compartmentalized, which also caused our own issues, but like we compartmentalized our sociopathy to like this little place in the desert or the mountains. And what I was saying to Jake is, he was living in his community.
Yeah.
Every day in and day out, and just like I'm this kind of target. When am I off duty? Like, we would be gone for many months, yes, but like we would be shipped in that mode. Now, shifting back into that mode at home, when you're well adapted for war, you're extremely maladapted to and all this stuff.
Like, we went behind walls to go to sleep, right? And I mean, until like 2000, I guess it was a fear of ours in 2008, but we didn't take it too seriously until like after 2010, I think, is when we started seeing like cool Afghan initial coming down the fogs and shooting up Americans. But yeah, so we would go behind walls. So it's like, I always say that too. Like, I wouldn't have been able to be a police officer. You know what I mean? Because it's just,
I'd say the same thing. Yeah. We give it up, even though I feel like we get more glory as veterans. Yeah. I feel like a lot of us give it up to the cops that are like out there all the time, like at just a slow, steady burn, but you never know, just random crap. And
you had another quote that I don't think I've reused it, but it just dawned on me. You said, you know, as you deploy and you macrodose trauma. As a cop, you microdose for year. You macrodose it for 14 months on a deployment, or you microdose it for 9 years or longer as a cop.
Yeah, that's true. I was actually just thinking about, I can't remember the podcast I was listening to, and yeah, like special forces, right, as opposed to just conventional infantry guys. So special forces units will go out and take the targets, right, choose the fight, take the fight to them, right? Usually the odds are in their favor because they're choosing the terrain, right? They're choosing the actual fight, whereas conventional soldiers or presence patrols walking down the street, like, hey, we're here, we'll hand out like a lot of blankets, and then we'll just basically waiting for somebody to shoot at us. Or
yeah, that's more like being a cop.
Yeah. And we only get it for a year. That's max, I guess. You could extend for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised because, you know, they use that term thin blue line, but it's like there's a whole different flip side of the universe of this city that you see when you're a cop. What's that like to be?
The two worst experiences I had on duty, one happened at a bus stop on a city street. The other one happened just at a house in West Des Moines, a nice house in a nice neighborhood on a beautiful day. And so it's like, you know, a lot of those experiences have at times just made it hard for me to just exist in society. And I don't know, I mean, there's much different but similar challenges, you know, coming back, you know, trying to reacclimate that I don't understand, but there is a unique challenge to having had all of those in just houses and gas station parking lots and, you know, public places and on traffic stops, and you know, it all looks the same. And, you know, the battlefield's the same as where you live
every day. Yeah. It's like we had dilapidated, war-torn country, so it had a context to it, but you're just out all the time. You know, like, I think, you know, that being deployed taught me how kind of thin the veil of like civility in society is, but like you were actually piercing that veil constantly. You were seeing the other side of it.
Never became more evident than in 2020 during riot season. That's what I call it, riot season. The George Floyd riots. I was a cop in Iowa City at that time, which was an incredibly soft target for political movements of any kind, and that was no exception. And I just remember several moments just standing on we called it a skirmish line. I mean, just cops standing in a line trying to keep people from going somewhere. It wasn't really very well organized, but just found myself standing there, and we'd wind up with maybe 80 cops, and there'd be groups of 3,000 people, and that's like they're only reason this is working is because they're agreeing to it, you know, and that, in the back of my mind, it's like, yeah, we got guns, but we all know we're not just going to start shooting people. Like, that's just not going to happen. They could just bum rush us and we're not going to open fire. So it is just this illusion. It's just an absolute illusion of,
oh yeah, power itself is an illusion.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's just an
civility and power.
That was something that when I became a cop, I remember like growing up, I was the opposite of a cop. And I was always trying to literally running from the cops. And I just thought, like, man, there's a cop in every bush, in every corner. Like, there's cops everywhere. I mean, I grew up in a small town. Maybe that's part of why, but I thought there were so many cops out there. Maybe because I was just always guilty of something. But I became a cop, and I found out, like, you know, in Iowa City, we'd go out, on night shift patrol with like 7 cops and a sergeant, and it's a city of like 80,000 people. It's like seven.
Well, actually wanted to be 3 things when I was a kid. I wanted to be a cop, pro wrestler, and businessman. I think I'm almost kind of like blurred and done a little bit, a little bit. But you didn't want to be a cop, so now got you into being a cop.
So I mean, I'd have to really tell you my whole life story, but I ended up deciding to go to the University of Iowa out of school. I wanted to join the Marine Corps, to be honest with you, but my parents had this belief. You guys are going to love this belief. My parents had this belief that the military is for just losers that couldn't do anything else. Like, they just believed.
That's why I was there.
They just believed it was like,
Heard of that side?
they just believed it was for like people who couldn't do anything else.
They're right here next to you. You had other options, so you didn't do it.
Whatever. You're way smarter than me. I just met you. You probably can do a lot of other things too. I don't know, but I wanted to join the Marine Corps. They were just adamant. They're like, get a college degree first, and if you want to go join the military, do it. And they're like, they kept offering to pay for more stuff, and I was like,
I paid for my college.
Yeah. That's smarter than me. So I go, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to just go party in Iowa City. I'm like, I don't want to go to college, but I'm at least going to have fun, right? And so I went to Iowa City, and I didn't have a plan at all, but I ended up, there's all this pressure to pick a major. And like, I started thinking business school, got bored with that, ended up picking up psychology because it was interesting to me. And then I wind up with a psychology degree. Like, I wind up like cleaning up my act toward the end of college just so I could graduate, and then I'm like, just I'm graduated and I'm kind of got my shit together, and I have a psychology degree. I'm like, the fuck am I gonna do with it? Or can we say, what the hell am I? Can we say?
Oh no, we cuss on.
Okay, yeah.
To hold you.
Yeah, I'm like,
So YouTube, they don't mind if I say fuck or shit or I don't know where the line is. I don't know how much bigger I can go than that, but
probably just can't get too concerned.
I think it's just because I only have less, like around 300 or less.
I haven't noticed yet. You know what?
Oh, they'll know.
TikTok notices right away. I had some guy was trolling me, and I told him to jump off a fucking cliff, and it was immediate.
Oh, but that's not cussing. That's more like But
it was immediate. It's like it's like automated. It's like
No, that's the Chinese AI.
Yeah,
they have the AI. They have a social credit score for us too.
It was.
My social credit score is negative with the Chinese Communist Party.
I was live on TikTok, and
Oh yeah, you just go on. If you want, I can because I make joke websites. Don't go to keepjujitsugay.com. Somebody's trolling me. But now that I make websites, which I made your real estate website.
Yeah.
I make a lot of just random websites. So now you've given me an idea. I should just make the social credit score and just have it live out there and people deal with it. I'm just going to just take mine to negative numbers, and that's like where you want to be.
Maybe elite too, so.
Man.
Saying it's a bit no.
I don't know about
that's why this is another project to do that.
I don't know about you guys. I mean, if anyone tries to make me have a social credit score, we got another thing coming. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Us hot-blooded, red-blooded Americans to try and tell us what to do, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like the only real good man is somebody who is dangerous. And obviously people have made quotes about that. Like, if you're not dangerous or if you're not capable of violence, then you're
at Jordan Peterson.
You can't be dangerous. Yeah, that's like the Jordan Peterson thing.
Yeah.
But
you should be a monster.
No, it's like when you're actually rooted in something. I don't know if you're rooted in anything spiritually. I've really gotten into, actually, I used to, for years, say the universe and other stuff. I kind of got on a spiritual path after the military because I had these symptoms too. And I was like, what are these symptoms? I didn't give it a name or anything. It's like,
can't sleep, can't stand still.
Too tough for symptoms. But my heart would stop beating at times. And I was mashing and grinding my teeth almost out of my skull at night and having nightmares and some other things. But I got into meditating, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and we didn't have all these newfangled plant medicines and other things. Like, I just started meditating and getting on the spiritual path, and I talked about the universe and this and that, but now I just use the G word personally, and just throw it out there. And
I've just gotten there recently, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why not? If I can kneel to one thing, then I don't have to kneel to anything else. It's like, but if you kneel to nothing, then you're a suspect. Like, that's demonic to me. And that's where my life would go off track. Like, if I can just kneel to the one thing and it can say God is love, it can say the God of the Bible, the creator, the creative force, 5-dimensional neural network.
I've had a series of experiences over the last year that I can't explain any other way. And
we've talked about
but not the most recent chapter, but most of it. Yeah, you know,
synchronicities.
It's just stuff that cannot be explained. We were, by the way, talking about why I got into law enforcement, and then
we don't have an agenda.
We just got off topic. So
the diversion, the little off track, that is the podcast. Back on track.
So you want to talk God, or how I became a cop, or something else?
How God worked through your life to get you down this path to being in this chair right now.
I don't have all those. Well, I mean,
we know the story.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you how I became a cop.
Tell me.
So yeah, I ended up with a psychology degree.
Yep.
And no plan. So I got a job at a youth shelter, and kids, runaway kids or delinquent kids or whatever, just be court ordered there temporarily. And I got a lot of fulfillment out of that, and ended up going into juvenile corrections as a tracker. I would go to chase kids around the community. And
where is this at? That you did the
Cedar Rapids.
In Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, Cedar Rapids. And so I was a juvenile court tracker, and I ended up just seeing a lot of kids just in complete squalor. Cedar Rapids is a rough town. And, I think of one kid in particular. He's in prison now because he's joined a gang. There's nothing else for him to do, but I would go and try to check on him at his house, and he lived in this massive old, craftsman style house, just a huge house, just in terrible shape, just a huge house on the southeast side of Cedar Rapids. Like, a lot of times I have to walk into his house and figure out which room he's in, and it's like just garbage everywhere, cockroaches, just awful living conditions. And I would find him, and I would usually wake him up at 2 p.m. and I was lucky to find his mom, no idea where his dad was. And I'd have these good conversations with him during the day in his house, and then he would go and participate in gang activities and shoot at people and get shot at all night. And eventually he committed a pretty heinous shooting in the middle of downtown Iowa City and went to prison. But that's kind of what led me down the road of I started to realize I can be a peace officer, police officer, and actually make a difference of some sort. And plus, I wanted to chase cars and carry guns, and I wanted to do all the cool stuff too. So
yeah,
I started thinking about it a lot while I was working in the juvenile court, and then to be honest with you, the final thing that got me over it was the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson. Darren, you guys familiar with that?
Yeah,
you remember that first round of BLM riots back in 2014?
Yeah.
I looked at that, and it was legally justified, right? The cop did nothing wrong legally, but he didn't have to do it. Do you remember the details of that?
It's just vaguely. Yeah.
Michael Brown committed a strong arm robbery, meaning no weapon. He just went into a gas station and just by force stole some chips or something like that. And then Darren Wilson, this Ferguson police officer, rolls up in his car and confronts him because they'd gotten a call about it. And Michael Brown attacks him through the window of this squad car. And so Darren Wilson pulls his pistol and shoots him out through the window of the squad car, which very clearly legally justified, but also just drive away. That's just what I thought. Just drive away. Right? Why do you got to kill a kid over this? It just bothered me. So I and maybe it's because I was working in juvenile court and I could see the humanity of kids like that, and sure he committed a pretty ridiculous crime, but should he have died? That's kind of what got me over the hump. And I decided to apply, and then ended up getting hired in Iowa City, and I took to it quick. It was almost like I was meant to do it.
What do they have what's the training like to get into it?
It's in Iowa City. It's abysmal. It's just terrible. It's abysmal. It's just a bare minimum. At the time it was a 14-week academy on Camp Dodge here in Des Moines. They run you through PT, simple defense tactics. They teach you, they make you barely proficient with a pistol and a shotgun. And then it's a week of, driving maneuvers, but mostly classroom time with like state mandated. They weren't calling it DEI at the time, but shit like that, you know, all the wrong stuff that to be focused on, state mandated stuff, like outdated things. I remember having some like ancient, dusty old state trooper come and show us how to like roll out, you know, like those rolling things that measure distance, like for traffic accident scenes. Like, here's how you use this rolly thing. And it was a tiny bit of information about a bunch of different things. It was not what mattered. And then you go through field training, which is another like 4 or 5 months where you ride with a cop who's training you and observing you. And that's like the real training you get, like on the job. And by the end of that, you're minimally qualified to go get in a squad car by yourself. Like, you're just minimally qualified. The training for cops that's a spot that should be improved. And then, I mean, even throughout your career, it's on you to seek out training. It's on you to get adequate range time. It's like you have to qualify with a pistol and a shotgun and a rifle twice a year. Like, and you wonder why cops end up shooting the wrong person, or they miss, or whatever. It's because it's just, there's no training required. But yeah, got hired there. I mean, I got hired there in 2015. By 2018, I was officer of the year. Like, I took it. I loved it. I ran with it all. I loved making a difference. I also just thrived on the adrenaline of foot chases, car chases, fighting with people. Like, I'm not telling you I was a dirty cop, like picking fights, but if there was one to be had, I was there. You know? Yeah.
You're a unit.
I was all about that. Maybe I was, Jeremy. I was, whatever.
No, I'm scared.
We've rolled.
It doesn't matter still.
We rolled.
I didn't go out and foot chase nobody.
Oh, that's fun. That's a good time. You would like that. Yeah, maybe not this phase in life, but guaranteed both of you guys would enjoy chasing somebody.
How'd you make it to West Des Moines if you're in Iowa City?
2020 happened and everything fell apart. We had over 30 days straight of riots. I mean, paid protesters were busting into town, and a couple of the nights were like 3,000 to 5,000 people in these groups, and they were like the Antifa people and the actual BLM people, like legitimate organized paid protesters. Spray painting everything, lighting stuff on fire. They surrounded City Hall one night, which is where this police station is in Iowa City.
I've seen footage of that.
Yeah, they're like throwing rocks at it, and it reached a peak on, it was June 3rd of 2020. They were gonna go out and block Interstate 80 in the middle of the night. It's like 11 p.m. They were gonna go block Interstate 80, and you know, at face value, that it might seem to some like, who cares, but someone would have died. I mean, someone would have either got ran over or it would start. The thing is, when you block an interstate like that, the accident might not happen here. It might happen 50 miles down the road, depending on how long the interstate's blocked. Because sooner or later, someone's not going to be paying attention, or a semi driver is going to be falling asleep, and it's just going to be like Mad Max. You know, like just
So their point was they already organized like information that you guys got a hold of that they were going to block the interstate?
They just had stupid little two-way radios that somebody from the campus police just got their frequency, and we could just listen to it. At the time, I was on a plainclothes unit called the Street Crimes Action Team. It's kind of like special forces of the police. Like, you ever heard of the term like jump out boys? Like, we just drove unmarked cars. We were plainclothes. I had a big beard, and we mostly worked like gun and drug cases, robberies, like violent. The point was to, proactively address a violent crime. That was the point of the unit. But then, like, anytime something special would come up, it'd be like, I'll send Street Crimes out to go check it out. Like, I mean, when the riots kicked off, they just told us to, blend in and report back, basically surveillance, which is cool. I mean, that was what I wanted to do. Like, as soon as I saw like what the Iowa City Police Department had to offer, I'm like, I'm going to that street crimes unit. Like, that's cool as shit. We worked with informants, and we would work drug cases, but mainly to get to the guns, to the illegal guns kind of thing, and get to the gang members, because there's a lot of crossover from Chicago into Iowa City. But I've now forgotten what question you asked.
Originally, I was asking how you got from Iowa City to West Des Moines.
Yeah.
You said it was BLM.
Yeah, so the city council was very crazy, like nuts, and they were like out leading the protests and riots, like
Oh, nice.
against their own police department. And there's a couple of them that were writing opinion articles in the newspapers about abolishing the police and getting rid of the police department. And it just was an environment. I mean, you would talk about paranoia. It was an environment. It was emotionally charged. It was targets on our backs all the time. And then you knew in the back of your mind, like if I was forced to make a split-second decision, like shooting somebody, I was probably going to jail, at least for a while. Even if it was justified, they're probably going to try to make an example of it.
People that I'll just say this, people that who men like us have made this fucking safe will live a generation or two under the safety blanket created by dead fucking men and tons of sacrifice and selfless act. Like you said, you want to see you have basically these virtuous reasons you wanted to get into the police force. I just had this thought, like, I'm not special. It's like I said, I plan on being a cop, but not a soldier. Like, but I was like, I'm not special. People are dying over there. I'll go over there. I bet I could do good at it.
Yeah, that's essentially the same thing to me. Like,
and there's a Bible quote too. It's like, who shall I send? Send me. Here am I.
Yeah,
and that's how I felt about it. So
yeah,
but
I was bothered by what I was seeing the police do, and instead of posting a black square on Instagram or whatever people do, I'm like, I'm gonna go be a cop and do it right.
I'd always said Americans have become too warm under the blanket of security provided to them by those in uniform. Right. And I think we can't forget, though, when civil disobedience happens, right, police are the first line, right? So when infantry unit moves in Afghanistan, right, who do they send first?
Toxic man.
The toxic Afghan national man. If that fails, it's the Afghan National Army, and then we're going to support that with all assets. And usually you didn't get your Afghan Army detachment, right? But police were always going to be the first ones in. So I think I rebelled definitely against government when I got out. And police were the I'm with you. Primary target on that. Yeah, I grew up first lot.
Well, that brings me. I mean, I relate to that a lot, because toward the end of 2020, I just realized, like, I've been a cop and I did it for all the right reasons, and I did everything I did was above board. I was never disciplined one time, and it's not because I didn't walk a fine line. I just knew how to walk the line and not cross it, and I knew what mattered. I wrote maybe 15 traffic citations in 9 years because it's fucking stupid. Who cares? I speed all the time. I blow stop signs. Why am I going to go right?
Oh yeah, you're my kind of.
Why would I write someone a ticket for what I did on my way to work and what I'm going to do on my way home?
Never pulled me over, for example.
I would pull you over, but it would only be if I suspected you were doing something, which you look suspicious all the time. So
you've never seen me out while you're in uniform, though.
Yeah, I definitely have, actually. I may have diffused the situation. I may have saved the cop from you.
Well, I don't know. That guy didn't like me, and I was being as kind and friendly as I am right now. And then you saved my life.
Yeah, but you could have tied him in a knot, taken his gun, and shoved it up his ass if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm a vegan. I wouldn't do that. He just didn't like me because I was like too calm or something. Like,
you're driving a Tesla.
Oh, he hated my Tesla.
Yeah, and he's a good dude. He's got some trauma issues. He came from Johnson County too, same area as I did, and he was whichever, it's probably like this in the military too. There's just kind of like folklore, like tales. Like, you probably get into a unit and there's tales of, like, some wild thing that some former member of the unit did, right? I would assume something like that. Same thing happens in law enforcement. And he was involved in, like, one of the wildest shootouts that's ever happened in Johnson County. And he had, like, bullets go through his pant legs and stuff. Like, he was trapped. It was in a trailer. Of course, where else would it happen? A trailer park. He had bullets go through his pants. Like, didn't hit him. Like, he had bullets through and through his pants. And he did some trauma issues, is my point. And he tends to see red for for reasons that he shouldn't, but that's just my take too.
Yeah. You guys didn't find my drugs that were in my ass, so that's good.
I'm sure you had some wild ass, some fucking bathtub drugs you made yourself or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, in these containers I have over here.
Things that can't be tested by normal test strips. Yeah, Jerry got pulled over one night, and when I was working in West Des Moines, and I just happened to just tap on the computer to pull up, I just want to see what kind of car got stopped. Like, is it something worth going to, get involved in? It's kind of like the thing. Or is he going to need another car? Is it potentially going to be an arrest or a vehicle search or that kind of thing? And I saw your name, and I didn't know you that very well. I'd been to a couple classes you had instructed. I don't know that we'd even talked really much. But I just kind of had this thought, like, I know those two. Like, I'm gonna go stop by, just check it out. There was a little tension in the air. I think it was mostly coming from Al.
It was. He kept getting more agitated that I was just like, I guess being casual. I always am respectful. Like I put my hands on the top of the wheel and I'm just like, but he drove at me. I'm thinking I should take a right here. Everybody knows I'm not great at directions. I'm like, I should take a right here. And I'm kind of hesitating on taking the right. And he's driving right at me from the other direction at the stoplight. And he keeps driving at me. So of course I'm driving a little erratic.
Because you were
driving at me.
Because you were trying to figure out how to get into that come and go.
Yeah.
Which is confusing. How to get in there, yeah.
And so I kind of just turn into it and I keep turning. I'm like, man, who is this person? Like, I feel threatened. So I like bank in there. Like, my response is a little bit like, these people want to do something. Like, I'm going to get jumped because I didn't know it was a police car. This is lights. And I pulled in and then he came out super hot right away. Why are you driving like that? And this and that. I'm like, why were you driving at me? But yeah, he didn't like me just kind of, I don't know, I was being a little nonchalant. I was not actually in my smart ass mode, maybe subtly, but
I mean, when I came and talked to you, I'm telling you,
it could have gone bad. You see my life.
I sensed, I said, well, it could have been something if you were in your smart ass mode.
We joke about that anyways in the Army with my Army buddies. We're like, saved your life, even if it didn't quite hear what you don't know if it did or not.
Yeah, you don't know what could happen there.
I mean, we got into it, I think, for good reasons. Robbie, what about you? You just wanted free college?
Oh, the Army.
What made you want to be in it? And where were you from originally?
So, at Ward, Santa Rosa, California, raised Prima. So I was adopted early. So like definitely probably the children that you were looking for.
They know how to find us.
Couldn't find me though.
Well, some of them are pretty...
Oh, you mean that he was looking for? I said the Army found the heathen children.
No, I think like it found them like in juvenile court probably is what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I joined. I kind of knew I was going to go in. I guess I had a father figure in my life early who was a Vietnam veteran. And then once Iraq, like obviously 9/11, since I was a freshman, I kind of remember that whole situation. I was actually search and rescue team for Civil Air Patrol. So we actually got bussed out to the airfield. We were about to cut orders to go help them in New York. But never fell through. My first experience with the hurry up and wake stuff.
How was that? Yeah, that's good.
So I kind of...
My cross is over too.
I was one of those little crazy kids. So I joined 2007. I tried to do a construction job out of high school. Well, I didn't graduate, but after I should have graduated, I did a little construction job. Didn't pan out, so they got mine, so I had to have one of those to get there. But then, it was 2007, August, until I graduated. I got orders to hire first, and then, it was like March 2008, got orders at that.
Well, you said you got orders, but did a recruiter find you, or what made?
No, I joined. I voluntarily went.
You were doing construction, and you're just like, F this.
Yeah, I was pretty much tired of trying to hustle and bust one that I can make it in the Army.
I'm going to go be a forward observer.
Yeah, so the job in the toss-up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Fire support specialist sounded kind of cool. To be able to sham out, hide on a fob somewhere. Who could have lied to me? So not really what a forward observer does.
It's pretty front line.
I don't know what a forward observer.
Forward observer basically, if I told you like the synopsis of it, it's just combat multiplier, right? I coordinate assets for infantrymen doing combat operation.
And some assets would be like obviously indirect fire or even maybe airship or
ground helicopters. So like we had a lot of fast movers. A-10 gun runs were like a thing. Spoopy came on stage. Never got to talk to them, but they came on station to see what 30 Spectre.
So I've got a buddy that's TAC-P or JTAC, G Air Force.
So when I was a kid, actually, while I was Civil Air Patrol, my aspiration was to be a PJ. So I'm going to go do search and rescue stuff.
Yeah, that's an Air Force Special Ops. Just giving context for listeners. Special Ops, but it's mainly like a medical
pilot
rescue. Yeah.
And they'll jump in behind it and line the rescue down pilot.
So is a forward observer similar to, you calling in airstrikes or?
Yeah, so like I mainly helicopters. Yeah, that was like kind of my helicopters. We're the 101st, so helicopters are.
You're first known for helicopters.
Yeah, so it's like Kiowas or probably plenty. Apache is usually overkill, but those are always coming. Sometimes if you're lucky, you get some black on miniguns. So all the kind of cool.
I actually wanted that job originally. Like I go, who shoots the gun out of the helicopter? They're like, that's not a job. Yeah, I was like, can I just fly by with?
I had a buddy that was a sergeant at the PD in Iowa City that was a door gunner on some.
You're basically a mechanic, I think, on the helicopter.
So if you're the crew chief.
So that's a cool way to be a mechanic, but also like that's your gun.
He called himself a door gunner though. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, crew chief. Yeah, okay.
And then his assistant will be the other side. Like a Chinook crew chief is gonna be the door side gunner, and then he'll have a couple of helpers, and one of them will man a gun on each because he got to pull security on your shit. Hey,
my buddy
gonna have a gun.
My buddy that I joined with, he was like dead set on being like an Army Ranger, which he did. He went on to be like a legend in the 75th 75th Ranger Regiment. And so I was like, all right, I at least can do infantry, So I was like, I guess since you can't do the door gunner job, I didn't want to like actually become a mechanic. Like that sounded super lame. Not the infantry didn't end up being super lame too, but I was like being in the thick of it. Like I was a linebacker and I liked that I was in the thick of it. I did wrestling, is very direct. It's like, yeah, just put me in the,
yeah.
If I'm going to do it,
I relate to that, yeah.
Yeah, I say the only thing the Army really taught me is how to be homeless. So,
did you go homeless after that?
Yeah, actually, yeah, a little spell. I mean, so I did suffer a lot of like post-traumatic stress, like so. I'm really against like giving these names, things like that, right? I think we're our own worst enemy, and we can delve into that, right? I think mentally we put ourselves through the ringer. So if you just lighten up on yourself,
well, that's why I brought Jake here today. He's gonna fix us.
Yeah,
no. I don't have it all figured out. I just found some stuff that worked for me.
But yeah, the 2 IEDs specifically in my vehicle, and that multiple ambushes and like close policy like that. And at one point in time, we were ambushed with a cordless rifle at Newark District Center, which turned into like 3 days out there.
How to say that again?
So like Newark District Center was kind of a big thing. We had battalion clearing up going down. So I was with 1st Battalion, 506 Infantry Regiment. I was forward observer, so I'd attached to Able Company. So like you had my family brothers, that's going to be 2nd Bat. So we were there, our sister battalion, 1st Battalion. So battalion was doing a clearing up in this valley called the Jalrez Valley. And so part of an FO's job is to set up OPs, right? Observation posts.
Mm-hmm.
So we get an intel, Second Platoon's going to intro like 2 squads up to the top of this mountain on our district center. And we're going to overwatch, and we're going to drop bombs on anybody who exfil into the valley while the battalion clears the valley next to it. Well, in Afghanistan, everybody knows what everybody's doing, except for the American. So RS2 is always behind the curve for some reason. Well, when we get to...
S2 is your intelligence.
Yeah.
Yep. I got you. I'll translate.
I'm filling in some blanks. I'm following most of it, but I'm following.
We used better signal, masking than the BLM. I was an RTO, so
Yeah.
I would work with the FO.
I was a glorified. Yeah, that's all I really love.
Our FO, I love our FO, so I'm going to shout out to Sergeant Spiller right now. I still see him on the gram sometimes. Shout out. I'll send this to him.
Yeah.
We love our FOs.
I'll shout out Eric, because if he ever watches this, he knows exactly this ambush. So yeah, he still some deuce, pop around the corner with some RPGs. So I blame it on him because he started shooting first. Well, it just so happened that they had, like, from what I heard, I guess we didn't really go back to check, but there was a division-sized Taliban element X still in Jarvis Valley before battalion started.
Division, which is what, like a
300 plus, I think.
300 plus.
Yeah, and so our two squads basically split them in half.
Squads are like 8. 2 squads is like 18.
10 men.
10. You were 10.
Yeah, so with our command, so we had Lieutenant, myself, which is kind of the head shit, and the RTO, and then an AG, a rifleman, and then we sat the machine gun up the hill, so we were kind of pulling security on the base of the hill while they moved up. Well, as they started going up, seen those dudes put them down, they maneuvered on us. They opened up the machine guns, like 3 different tree lines, so it kind of turned into chaos. We were down on what's a martyr mound, so like Afghan buried or dead in the mounds, right, and they'll plant flags. So we were up on this little martyr mound, and we had to maneuver across this open field. Yeah, so they started shooting at us, which we got up, started moving. So it was kind of like a being shot at with tall grass situation. Anytime you move, you get straight to machine gun fire. It's pretty crazy that none of us got shot. Well, one dude did in the hand, in the gun. Yeah, so it was kind of chaos there for about 3 days. We were stuck there, right in that position.
You just stuck for 3 days.
Yeah, we were moving around because we're infantry and we're the 101st. That full idea, like for guts and glory. So we're out on all this shit. This is all America now.
It doesn't matter if it's 10 versus 300. This is our fucking territory. I mean, but one doesn't have to make sense. We said so.
Shout out to Bearcat 6, the Apache pilot, Colonel. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he put in some work that night. And so all we were able to find after we did our BDA was just like bloody clothes, bloody rags, blood spots, things of that nature. We had a lot of you got fucked up. And only one of us got shot in his hand. I won't say his name because I'm pretty sure he shot himself, but you know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
It's hard not to shoot yourself.
If it's offensive, I'm sorry. I don't know.
So when you start to shoot that much, right?
There's a lot of shooting.
Yeah, 50 cals.
Slippery, you're sweaty.
I worked with a cop who shot himself. And so yeah, it's universal.
I'm pretty sure he shot himself in that. No, I mean it was madness. Basically, you didn't plan for it, right? And we kind of got cut off. Yeah, so they maneuvered that 82 on us, and they were shooting out of the back of a truck. And for those rifles, is basically like a RPG on steroids, right?
What is it? A recoilless rifle? Recoilless. Okay.
It's like it's like a 2-man weapon system. Put it on tripod. You can stand right next to the thing, and it'll take out tanks, shit like that. It's just like I'm not a good person. But yeah, we found out that they like Taliban can kind of fancy with what they do. Like they were trying to skip their RPGs underneath the MRAPs, so that way they were carried behind them because we were trying to hide it. So it's like we were behind the MRAPs were moving. We were kind of like World War II style behind this tank. So it was kind of dicey. That's probably like the craziest thing on it.
Oh yeah, basically that was for 3 days.
I mean, and also been people that have been completely demolished, blown in half, dudes.
There must be a thing about forward observers getting blown up because ours was blown up 8 times, including one right in front of me. I don't say blown up because it's like his vehicle was blown up and somebody died in his vehicle, but he would get out. I remember when he got out, I thought they were all dead, but he got out and he just dusted his glasses because this was number like 8 or 9 for him. His glasses back on. I was like, Jesus.
My second one, the only common thing was Sergeant Kamarmi was sit across from me, so I think never again are we riding the same group. Never again.
Was one of my best lifelong friends. Went in the Marine Corps and did a couple tours. And he got blown up. I don't remember if it was Iraq or Afghanistan, same kind of thing. But he was the only one that survived, and he got trapped in the wreckage for like 20 some hours, and that's the one that got him. That sticks with him. He has panic attacks driving on. He lives in Omaha, can't really drive anymore.
I heard a story in Afghanistan where so MRACs, they just be able to when I was there, so they just started bringing them in as experiment. And an issue with those was the door was hydraulic air compressor, so when they got hit with an IED, that 700-pound armored door couldn't get it to open. And so there was story, people burning to death, so cashed out to kill everybody
and just got stuck in there. It was like 100.
Was it a Humvee or MRAP?
I think it was I mean, he's a Marine, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
Year?
Yeah, it's a year.
He went right out. I want to say he went right out of high school. I graduated in 2007, and he went right out of.
So it could have been either one, or not 100%, because that's around the transition.
I think it was a Humvee.
When I left,
might have been a Humvee.
They were taking away the RD-33 MRAPs and put in the MAT-Vs. So it's like we built FOBs and COPs for 10 Mountain to come in. So we started just upgrading everything. And I remember they were coming over with those. I believe the new MAT-Vs are the new ones that they're sending they're new to me. They're sending to Ukraine, those things. On what caliber?
I don't even know anything about them.
Yeah, where you could stand up in the back of them. I know the MRAPs, you couldn't stand up to the back.
Yeah, I had a problem. Like the MRAPs were nice because, so you had Humvee and we kept slapping more armor on the sides. Like when they first went to Iraq, it was like, IEDs are blowing these things up and sometimes they just have fabric on the sides like of a Humvee. Then they do level 1, 2, 3. Then we were at level 4 and the glass is like this thick and this and that. But then they would just blow us up from underneath because that was still a vulnerability and it's flat. And the MRAP had a V-shaped hole underneath. So there was munition that killed a guy in my unit from underground. And since we're jamming signal, they used the 900 yards of like wire, command wire, touch a battery to it, blows up some old rusty Soviet rounds or whatever part of the hell they had, like old ass rounds.
155.
Yeah, I think it was can't remember exactly what they were, but I knew at the time. But those same rounds in the same place hit us later in deployment because we got the MRAPs during deployment. And the guys inside the vehicle were like, "Are you guys all right? This and that." They're like, "Well, what? Why?" Like they had their headsets on. They're like, "Why?" Like, you guys got blown up. They're like, "Oh, really? Is everything okay out there?" They're like, they didn't even know. that V-shaped hole relieves that pressure out and it's thick.
My first IED was a Russian-made landmine planted right outside our fob, and it just took the front left tire, throw it like 300 meters away, took the hood off, but I felt like you hit a ditch. We were like, what the hell happened? And then it wasn't until the gunner started yelling IED that we kind of knew what happened.
Was that in the MRAP?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, those things were great at that, but then the maneuverability, they're big, lumbering, top-heavy beasts. And for no reason at all, we decided to keep driving around by the Tigris River, and there's these ditches, irrigation ditches and stuff, and the bank gives way, and we roll into water, which the number 2 killer, and they had us do, like, rollover training and stuff, but, like, other than enemy action, was pretty much rollover drowning. And then fire's probably up there, then suicide's maybe up there, and then that's pretty much all the ways you can die in the West. Although I saw some new ones that I didn't expect, like electrocution. There's like 1,000 million ways to die in the West for real life.
We had I don't know why I didn't think of this till now. We had an MRAP I was on the TAC team, like the SWAT team.
Oh, because you guys got them through, I forget what the program. You guys got the MRAPs.
They were selling them for like $1.
There's so many birds.
They were basically...
You painted them black and you're like, this is a cop car now.
Yeah, cop. Yeah, we went on patrolling it.
It's a SWAT vehicle, probably.
It was. We just used it for the SWAT team. That was it. And of course, in a place like Iowa City, it was that was a tank and it was a weapon of war, and we were going to launch. Everybody was afraid.
They were threatened by the fact that you had armor.
We did.
In your vehicle to get killed with.
We executed
That's so intimidating. And the tank has a giant freaking gun on it, and
we would just use it for high risk search warrant.
You didn't have the 50 cal on top like we did, probably.
No, it's just a big loud truck like that.
Call that cruiser buttons. I don't know what the
things would really have to go wrong.
No, I mean, we had full auto, like on the TAC team, we had full auto rifles that we never turned full auto.
You don't think they'll set?
No. I mean, maybe go to like Baltimore or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Now,
Maybe that's like the
when we were like getting outside of the city, we were pushing the insurgents out of the city and into these kind of grassy areas and stuff, and out into the bush. They have a little bit of bush there, like some tall grass and stuff. But I got to mount a Mark 19, which is a belt-fed grenade launcher. And so I went out.
I mean, I play Call of Duty, so I know, but
it's great because you don't even have to be that good at aiming. You just watch the rainbow, and it is just like a video game. You just like move your rainbow. It's just like doing grenades, and then as they hit, it's just like
just doing grenades.
Yeah, just doing grenades.
just doing shoot like too short or too far.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Call of Duty. You guys, have you played Call of Duty? Everyone's played.
I did back in the day.
The old noob tube,
In the army when
the rifle mounted grenade launcher on the bottom. Yeah.
Yep.
I had to carry one of those in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Marking.
I like the noise that they make. Boom, boom.
Yeah. Yeah. We used like was it 37 millimeter or 40 millimeter?
40.
But we'd only use like less lethal rounds or like a gas canister.
Yeah, you do. So you would have those things on a rifle still.
No, we had to like the six barrels. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
those are cool.
yeah. We'd
Like
never
shoot gas.
and mostly gas out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. You had a pump. Damn 40. That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
What kind of
20s of that about. Have you seen those? Did they pop in the side?
Can you get these? I mean, should we go to the gun store after this and see?
Flare gun.
You talking about the ones that like crack in half and like
Yeah.
yeah, we had some of those during the riot.
It's a 320, I think, or something. I don't know. I had the two. What is it called? What's the nomenclature?
204 or 203?
Yeah, the 203.
M203.
I remember the only time that I almost was able to shoot it at a guy, Sergeant Mullins said I couldn't do it. So I didn't shoot that grenade.
The closest experience I ever had to like a war zone was that night that they were trying to block Interstate 80, and we formed a skirmish lines, Iowa City PD, Sheriff's Office, State Patrol, and we were given orders like don't like draw a line and don't let them go no matter what. This is not the biggest crowd, but probably 500 to 700 people, and they were led by like professional like paid agitators. It was
Agitators, yep.
and they brought the crowd right up to us, and if I ever saw that bitch again, they're like, I knew she wasn't from Iowa City. I knew like Iowa City's it's a decent sized town, but it's small enough that you're like, you don't live here. Like I know you don't live here, and she's amping everybody up, and you're gonna have to call Donald Trump. You're gonna have to call the National Guard. We're coming right through you. She's like, everybody, get ready. I'm gonna count down. And then I was on the TAC team, and got the comms and everything, noise canceling, and in my head or in my ears, I hear deploy munitions. I'm like, I can't believe this is about to happen. But it was just flashbangs, like stinger grenades, OC, CS, like everything the cops have other than live rounds. We just all at once. It was just crazy.
Did it disperse them pretty good?
Briefly, they came back 5 times.
What about Claymore, those rubber bolts? Do you have those?
That's like a stinger grenade, like a.
But you didn't have stingers, because you're talking about just chemical stuff, basic.
No, it was a stinger grenade. It was like you pull the pin on it and throw it, and then it would blow. It would go off and shoot like rubber bullets. Like,
Did you guys have those?
yeah, those are cool. Yeah, I had a fire extinguisher sized canister pepper spray that I emptied in about 12 seconds. That's the closest thing to like at a war zone, but it was just surreal. And then the craziest part about that whole thing is then they started driving vehicles at us. Like they would drive, and they would accelerate and then stop right before like they would get to us. And it was just over and over, just a series.
People are so lucky. Like,
Yeah.
they get to live in such a soft society, because it's like so many other places around the world, you drive at an armed officer like that, and you're catching one.
They really,
In Iraq, drive at us like that, see what happens.
Well, they did. They like somehow knew the exact distance to go because it was like, all right, here they're coming, and like every cop starts grabbing for pistols at least, and we had people assigned to rifles too, but they never. That was what sucked about the whole thing is it's like it never really got. It's like at any time this could get to a deadly force situation, but it never really got there. And in the middle of it, they were like screaming that someone was having a seizure or something in the crowd, and they're like, "There was a seizure," just trying to bait it.
Now they want your help.
Well, that was a tactic.
Defund you, but help me.
That was a tactic happening across the country to get to like sow chaos amongst the police. And there's examples of cops giving into it, and then like all hell breaks loose. And so we knew that, so we're like, bring them up here, like someone's having a seizure, bring them up, and they wouldn't. And but then our dispatch sent a fire truck and an ambulance, and they just drove right into the middle of the crowd, and then the crowd starts climbing on it and like trying to like break in and like trying to bash in the windows. So we had to launch a bunch of gas at the ambulance and at the fire trucks. Then they're like, "No, stop from gas your gas vest." Like coughing on the radio.
Like, yeah, no shit.
It was just so strange to see it in like
they get to act like pestilent kids and terrorists at the same time.
Yeah, just with impunity.
You're not gonna do anything about it.
Just with impunity.
Yeah, such more soft people made from the good times we've had.
Yeah, and I know the whole thing was like race riots too. And you look, I remember looking at the crowd, and there's about three black people in there.
No, it was more for liberal women.
Yeah,
that was their Alamo. They got to. What I noticed was when I started seeing stuff come in social media, and I'd see some stuff out in the city. I lived downtown at the time, so I'd seen what was going on.
You were out there throwing a rock or two, I bet.
No, actually,
just sneak one in.
At who? At what?
Whatever you want. It's the Wild West.
Yeah.
I don't know what year it was. I think it was before COVID. But I drove through the one that downtown. I mean, they were pelting the federal building, rocks. I don't know. My ideology aside, I support the animating contest of freedom, right? So like when people gather, I don't support people destroying small businesses, harming other people's hard work, but if you're going to take it out on the federal building.
So what most people never recognize during that time is like the majority of cops feel the same way. The vast majority of cops feel the same way. And so that's really what made it.
We're the pawns. Whether you're in war, what I realized is the people we're fighting, we're on the same level. You're almost on the same level as the people you're policing. It's the puppet masters.
I saw both sides.
Who you are, and we know who you are.
I saw both sides. I saw both sides the whole time. I get why people are mad about the George Floyd thing. My personal opinion is he was going to die no matter what, but
they ruled it fentanyl overdose.
Yeah.
Office.
You
can't take that much fentanyl and live.
That type of in custody death is something that cops are trained on, and it's just a phenomenon. It used to be called excited delirium. It's now called an agitated chaotic event, and it's just like drugs can cause a person's system. They can basically create a walking dead man. Like your body overheats, you get real panicky and real agitated and just out of control. And most time they strip naked, and like any cop who'd been on the job for 5 minutes could watch that video and see that's excited delirium, but also get the fuck off of him. Like that's what I understood people being mad about.
We didn't have to necessarily say keep the knee on the neck nonstop.
When anybody who's trained jiu-jitsu knows that knee didn't kill him.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not saying that was the best call by that cop, but it was the optics.
It was horrible optics, yeah.
It's literally the optics. The guy died on fentanyl.
Yeah.
You can't kill a human that way. I know a lot of ways you can kill a human. You cannot kill him that way. Sorry.
It might be it's all kind of orchestrated in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
They want us to talk about that situation.
It was theater.
What multiple things, Brad, led up to I can't tell you what those things are, but obviously one person doesn't die and the whole country goes up and this is exactly
it was all very coordinated, wasn't it?
Things boil over, and I know I was born in California, raised just south of Oakland, so it's obviously the CIA probably had a lot of involvement at the direction Oakland is with. right? But being from Fremont, say an area code control point, like it wasn't a very good place, right? And there's no, I would say, hope for ownership, right? Like I had to leave,
Yeah.
need to like get better, if you will. Like I had to jump in the contest and start working and start owning things, and by being able to put myself in a position to buy property and join the contest of what is America. In California, you can't do that, right? There's just no, everybody owns something, right? Whether it be Elon Musk or some other millionaire from Africa, right? Somebody owns something, and you're not going to get a shot at it because the bar is so high for you, so it's like you still have many millions of people, right? And on that, they're all going to be barking up the same tree because
This is exactly what
no shot is that. We don't see it here in Des Moines, Iowa. 100% we don't. I would say, when I started having kids here in Des Moines, I purchased a home here, and the reason I did that is because, and it kind of scares me, because Des Moines reminds me of growing up in Fremont, California, right? So I'm getting all those nostalgic childhood feelings. But if I took you to Fremont, California, where I grew up now,
I told somebody this the other day. I go, we got to keep Iowa nice. And they're like, well, Iowa doesn't seem to get affected. I'm like, that kind of attitude is what gets you fucked up. I was like, It doesn't take much, as we've seen, it doesn't take much for some of these coordinated actions to drop all kinds of different populations in places and change things around and get some of these lawless people like you had in Iowa City. Things go downhill pretty quick. And as I said earlier, like civilization is like this anomaly, it's like good civilized society. This is an anomaly throughout the historic timeline. So, but people get very soft.
I hear what you're saying loud and clear though. And I came to the same realization in 2020 about, cause I never did anything wrong as a cop. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't violate rights, but it's like overnight, because that happened up in Minneapolis, like I was guilty, by association. And so that made me start questioning everything. Cause it's like you're saying, that's clearly was organized. Clearly there's something behind that. But I came to the conclusion that if you're a part of the system, you're part of the problem. It doesn't matter if you're in the system and doing the right thing. The system is doing the wrong thing. And that's really what led me out of law enforcement ultimately is like it doesn't matter if I go and work, a year's worth of 8 or 12-hour shifts and I do everything right, it's still, the system is still designed to oppress.
Yeah, okay. And that's why I couldn't have become a cop, right? Because I couldn't uphold certain judicial, right? They would have to fire me because I just wouldn't do it.
Oh, I got talked to a lot. Traffic tickets. Like I said, traffic tickets.
Well, they wanted more tickets out there.
Yeah. Why aren't you writing any tickets? I said,
It's still a sandwich. Oh, shit.
oh, I'd pay for it. I'd pay for it. A lot of times I'd pay for it. You steal food because you need it, I would just pay for it.
Yeah. That was the last ticket I got in my as an adult. So in California. And like that's where the disobedience comes from. The thing is that I was 24-year-old, 25-year-old combat veteran, like legit, not diagnosed with anything yet, right? I'm okay. I'm fine. Homeless, California.
Thriving.
And I got a ticket. You didn't arrest anybody. You get a ticket. You were paid that. Man, so California, if you're listening, Gavin Newsom, I'll never go back and pay you for that.
I'm so glad that we kind of struck up this little, when I was teasing season 2, you'd said something about being on, and then it stayed in the back of my mind. And when Jake was talking about being on, and we're going to have him on first episode, I just texted you, like, there's always a magic in threes. Yeah. And so, but I didn't know how, inspirational your story is too, honestly. So it's like you went from homeless, and now I've been to your house, I've seen your family, and you built something here that's very real and tangible. And what made you come to Iowa? Like, did you have people that you knew here or what?
Really, it was just, Afghanistan was a rough one, right? Like, and individual experience may vary, and I could have very well played that poor pitiful me stuff, right? But I needed to get away from people. So I came out to the middle of nowhere, Iowa, Lionville. So it was just the middle of the country. But Doesn't matter where you go, there you are, right? So I still had a lot of demons to face, but a lot of fights to fight. And that's what led me to getting into a bit of trouble out here. I ended up going into a grocery store or an empty gas station. I'm looking for an altercation with the police. They kind of knew, I guess, and knew how to handle the whole situation. So it went down without a hitch. They just took me into custody.
I don't mean to offend you by laughing, but I've been on the other side of that.
Kudos to them, I could tell you. So like I'm a big universe guy, like what you were talking about. Dude, I think we just say God for the lack of a better term, right? I say universe for lack of a better term. I believe it's the same thing though.
Yeah.
And I was sitting out in the middle of this field, and I'm as depressed as you can think of, right? Long nights in my garage, staring at extension cord stars off.
Yeah. Been there.
So I'm outside and looking at the stars. I see two full stars side by side, talk, right? Like, never see that shit. So that was like a call, like, well. So my calling was to have an altercation with cops. So it didn't happen that way. Long story short, I'm in jail for like a week.
Wait, were you thinking suicide by cop?
Yeah. Yes. I was looking to just be done.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the courage to do it solo. So it Ben Anders though, credit him, state of Iowa, still a state of Iowa employee. He saved my life. I mean, met me in that jail cell and said that I didn't need to go to jail. I needed to go to the VA. And so that was like 2015. Ended up getting to the VA. They had a post-traumatic stress program there. Got into it. Started seeing doctors. Got diagnosed with my brain injury. Microscopic holes in my brain. Supposed to get better over time. And so did like 4 months. I lived at the VA in their inpatient post-traumatic stress program for like 4 months. Got out on probation. Still wanted to party with lunch though. They couldn't lose that side out of me, right?
Can't do that with a trauma brain. Can't do it.
Let's do a party. And so like about a year partying, my PO was also better. We brought me in and it was like, listen, you're not doing anything wrong, but you're not doing anything right. So we set me down. So I did like 14 months Fort Madison for Iowa State Penitentiary. So like the worst of the worst of Iowa. I don't know how I got that lucky on a year sentence, but I ended up going to Iowa State Penitentiary.
Anything under 12 is county jail too.
Yeah.
So you just met the requirement to go to prison.
I feel like they kind of fucked me, but
yeah,
I can't believe in the universe, right? So what led me to that situation was that I believed Afghanistan threw me the worst the world has to offer. And by far it didn't, right? I walked with rapists. I could tell you some names who I walked the yard with. You could read their stories on like the darksideofiowa.com, right? Like, and it's wicked people, and that's the worst. Right, so it's growing from that, getting out of that.
Did that undo some of the progress you made?
No, actually, dude. Like I hear like Mike Tyson talk about how he pays tens of thousands of dollars to go do ayahuasca in South America, and it's like I feel like I've had those same trips, just chilling inside. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, like, if we want to, and I know we're probably skipping ahead here, but if we want to be better, like, if we believe in God, if we believe in whatever, right, the first place where we need to seek forgiveness is ourselves, right? And we're our own worst enemy, like, and we're going to attack ourselves in such a way that we don't even know, right? Like, legit, you're your own worst enemy, you know? And if you're like crazy, for the lack of a better term, as me, then it's like you're looking for every single weakness, right? And you're going to know weaknesses before you actually know. You know, so you just got to lighten up, you know, take it for what it's worth. And I mean, the world's going to throw shit at you. You're not going to be prepared for it. And so, like, yeah, that's really where I'm now, is like, I just want to grow. I want my family to grow. I got kids now, so I want them to grow. Like, I think my anxiety comes from just having witnessed all that badness, you know, like, the next step, the next part of madness I got to experience is death now, you know, and that's like a fear because
unless we have to do war again.
Well, even now, like, I feel like I'm kind of ready.
I say that to people, and
There's
they
peace and conflict.
yeah. Oh, there's yeah.
I'm not looking for
No,
Yeah.
like nobody, like we're totally on the same page. I mean, no trouble, but I say that sometimes to people. I'm like, yeah, as long as, I don't ever have to do war again or something. Like, they just like, like they treat it as a non-possibility. I'm just like, it's a non-zero. I got my armory now, so if that's what keeps us, I'm wearing this shirt too, that I think that really just owning guns and being ready is patriotic duty that was laid out in our Constitution. It wasn't like, oh, you have a right to bear arms. It's like, you have a right, but also like, you should be dangerous.
Yeah.
You should be like, here's a boundary I have of my own sovereignty.
That gives you your security. You know what I mean? That's your, you didn't call it just, right, whatever, from being in the Army, needing something within hand's reach, right? Whatever, but that gives you the sleep at night, right? You go to sleep, I don't know, I make sure everything's locked. And then mental check where all my shit's at. Like, how am I going to defend myself when
I've had to
SWAT Team 6 decides, like,
I've had to remove mine from arm's reach, because I went to a real bad place with PTSD too. Can I ask you some like more detailed questions about this, about the attempted altercation with the cops?
yeah, go ahead.
Did you have a weapon?
No. I was just here real violent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know how many times, I'd have to go back and tally them up, but more than once and less than 20 times on duty, I had somebody try to get me to kill him. Most time with a weapon, most time with a knife, because they know most people I think know if they pull a gun, it's going to be over right away, right? Like, but with a knife, there's negotiation and like, I don't know. I just was kind of curious if, what your approach to was, or that was.
Yeah, no, and it's like, it's such a chaotic time, and like there's a lot of that stuff that I kind of actively don't really try to think about, just because. But yeah, no, I remember the cops. I can't remember his name, but he had arrested me one other time before, and yeah, man, like, it was just a real negative, dark place, right? Like, I know, I just felt like the world was against me. That wasn't the case. I was against me. The world is gonna bend at your will, and you gotta choose what that will is. And I hadn't realized that yet until I said, like, I walked with those guys who I had S2E, and that's what I kind of realized. Like, we can make the choice. Like, everybody in there didn't do it.
Yeah, and
It's like, they're in there for life. They've been in there 30 years, still didn't do it.
yeah.
Actually convicted. It's like, yeah, man, we make, all right, that's our.
I'll go into my PTSD story then. You went pretty in detail. That's crazy. It's a crazy story. You only touched the surface, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I left law enforcement thinking I was burnt out. I just thought I was done. I mean, the final straw was I posted a video about this recently. I think you've seen it, about the shotgun incident. I went on a call for service in West Des Moines. This is what I'm talking about. Like, beautiful neighborhood, sunny day, nice houses, like just nothing but rich people. And like, I chose West Des Moines when I left Iowa City because I was like, I'll still be a cop, but I want to be a suburban cop. Like, I don't really want to have to do it. Like,
Keep them all.
yeah. Well, they don't get paid very well. And I'm not driving a Segway. The one thing here's the thing. The one aspect of policing that I would still do right now is chase a car. So yeah, I'm not going in a mall. Like, I'm going somewhere where there's a
Face me after the show.
possible.
I got the Tesla. Look
I'm
out.
not gonna catch that. I got a plug-in hybrid.
What are you driving?
A Sportage, Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid.
No, actually, Brian back here rolled up in the Pacifica. I got a Pacifica too. Yeah, we love the Pacifica. Yep. Shout out to Brian. He's totally not on the show, but we got jiu-jitsu photos himself back in the command seat along with Dan. So
I go on this call, and the call is this: somebody let their dog attack the neighbor's dog. It's like the most West Des Moines bullshit ever. Like, that's all that goes on there most of the time. It's just dumb shit. Like my neighbor's sprinkler came over the property line. Like he's watering my grass. He's watering my grass, and I don't like it. It's just dumb. It's so stupid. But I was here for it. I was just checked out. I was so tired of doing like the running and gunning type of policing. Like I was so, you talk about like going into the thick of it. That's exactly what I did in Iowa City. Straight to the street crimes unit, straight to plainclothes. But anyway, I'm in West Des Moines, and at this point I'm like burnt out. Like I'm spending most of my night shift like on Indeed. Like what else can I do? Like looking, because I'm still stuck in the matrix of like I need a different job.
Yep.
And that was done.
You're like, I need new massa.
yeah. I need to go work for someone else.
Still on Indeed.
Yeah, and none of them appealed to me. Believe it or not, not a single thing appealed to me. But I go on this call, and it's stupid neighbor dog fight. But the rest of the details are like then after the dog fight, the woman had the dog on the leash, the man's dog was off leash, and she said, "We put your fucking dog on a leash," which is what everyone in the world would say if that happened, right? You had a dog run up and attack your dog, put your dog on a fucking leash. Well, he goes just nuts. He says like, "I'm going to shoot your fucking face off, you fucking bitch. I'll fucking kill you," and chases her back to her house. This is the rest of the story. I don't find this out until I get on scene. And he like literally chased her up the stairs to her house, and she shut the door and had to like hold it shut. He was like trying to get into her house. And so even me in my like burnout state, I'm like, all right, I'll turn it back on. Like I'm going to go get this fucking guy. Like that's psychotic behavior. I mean, and this woman's just out walking her dog. It's just one of those like, this is what the police are for kind of things. You're talking about not writing tickets for sandwiches. I agree with that, but like this woman is terrified. This woman's traumatized from that. I mean, that's the worst day in this woman's life. So there's also, it's just so nice out there's 100 witnesses, so it's so easy to figure out where the guy lived. And I go to his house and I start knocking on the door, and he tries to hide, but I'm like, I'll actually be a cop for this one. I'm like, police, get the fuck out of here, or we're coming in, which is not true unless we get a search warrant. But I see him go running up the stairs, and I'm like, pussy, he's gonna go hide. So I'm thinking, we should probably get a search warrant and go, because you can get a search warrant for a person. You can search a house for a person, and then you get an arrest warrant to arrest them, that kind of thing. And it's just a lot of paperwork, but then you can legally enter. And so I'm thinking we're gonna do that. And I'm standing outside the house, and I kind of notice some commotion. I look over, and I can see through like the skinny window on the side of the front door. And this house was set up in a way that I don't know if it's the military uses the term fatal funnel, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that, like, some houses, like the front entryway, like is a fatal funnel. Like there's like a long entryway with like siding on either side, like up to the front door. And since there's a fatal funnel type home, and I can see him through the skinny window. And at the time, our kitchen broom was green. The handle to the kitchen broom is green, and he comes down with something long and green, and how in those moments your brain just makes quick associations. So I'm like, oh, he's got a broom. I'm like, fuck yeah, come out here with that broom. Let's see what happens, And it turns out it was a shotgun in a sleeve, just a really thin, like as thin as my socks, like sleeve, just green, same kind of green. So he whips the door open, he levels it at me and points, and he pulls the trigger through the sleeve. And he was hammered and he forgot to load it. And I also didn't know in the moment he pulled the trigger, but I knew, within half a second knew it was a shotgun. And what bothered me the most about it, that later I found out he pulled the trigger. That bothered me quite a bit. But what bothered me the most is he got me. Like he got me. Like I wasn't ready. I'd spent all this time on this, high speed street crimes unit. I was on the TAC team for several years. I took a lot of pride in training, with my weapons. I was very proficient and training and tactics, very proficient. And he got me. And I handled it well in the moment. Once I realized what it was, it felt like it was like a minute till I realized it. I watched the video. It was like a second and a half maybe. I had my pistol on him. By the time I had my pistol on him, looking back, he had realized that the gun was unloaded. And so by the time I draw down on him, he's taken his hand off the trigger guard, and he's just got it on the the front of the gun. And so in this day and age, this is in 2022. Like I know I've got a camera. I'm not going to shoot him now, even though he's pointing a gun at me, because I know he can't pull the trigger. And in a court, they're going to Monday morning quarterback the shit out of that and say he couldn't have even pulled the trigger. His hand was up. And so I started giving him commands and stuff, and he's kind of arguing with me, and he like drops his hand down a little bit, and I took 2 steps forward intending to shoot him. I mean, I just didn't get through the sequence of events in my mind because I took 2 steps forward. I said, drop the fucking gun, full on cop mode. And it scared him, and he dropped it. And so then he tried to shut the door on me. I kicked the door in. I pistol whipped him, which was a bucket list thing. I finally got a pistol whip in. I pistol whipped him and took him into custody. And then went to look at the gun and realized the trigger had been pulled and it was unloaded. And this is what took my trauma from like, I got some screws loose to like, I'm not okay. I just didn't realize it at the time. And that's the day that was November 26th, 2022. And that was the day that I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this. I'd become so disenfranchised with the system, all the stuff we just talked about. And now my wife, I have a kid, and my wife's pregnant with my second kid. And this guy this fucking loser, this fat drunk loser got me. He got me, you know what I mean? The only reason I'm here is because he forgot to load it.
Yeah, he almost put a hole in you.
I mean, I had soft body armor. I wasn't going to do anything with the 12 gauge shotgun from, not much further than me to you. So that's the day I decided I was done. And looking back, that's the day that I was like, not okay. But I couldn't come up with a plan to get out until I went on paternity leave for my second kid, July of 23. And I ended up just never going back. That wasn't a plan, but I just went on paternity leave and I just couldn't bring myself to go back. Got a real estate license, somewhere in there, talked to you.
Yeah, we started a coffee date. Yeah, I was like, oh, a Matrix escaper.
Yeah. Jared, you were a great help. You're a great motivator and just a great facilitator in making that escape. But once I did escape, then it was like, and I'd been having night terrors for years already. I chalked it up to like the cost of doing business. I never thought twice about it. Like, wake up fighting people in my room that aren't there. And it started long before this, but that's just when it got real. And so I leave law enforcement, and then my life just gets quiet. Like I sell some houses, and there's a lot more downtime, and life's a lot easier when you're not living in the Matrix. And I'm just got all this downtime, and I can't sit still, can't sleep, night terrors. Start having like panic episodes just with my kids making too much noise. I remember getting out of the car in traffic, like not while it's moving. Like we'd get to a stoplight, and for some reason being stopped in traffic, like with cars all around me, would overwhelm me because I didn't know, like in my mind, I couldn't account for all the angles that someone could possibly be pointing a weapon at me or something. Like I got to that spot that I think all 3 of us have been. And I would get out of the car and just walk home. One time I walked like 3 miles home. My wife would just get mad at me and just not come pick me up. So I just have to, I'd get out of the car and immediately just be like, I shouldn't immediately regret it and then still have to walk home. But then I started having these panic episodes, and then I started having just these violent episodes where I couldn't control myself at all. Like I have a scar on my right here from putting my hand through a door. This is from something in the last couple of years. I don't know what, but just I would have these almost out of body experiences where I'm punching doors, or I'm yelling at my wife, or I'm yelling at the dog, or I'm just or just going crazy, just like breaking shit in my own house. And it's like I was watching myself do it from like above sometimes. And sometimes I would just have these like little snapshot memories of it. And that I got to a very, very similar place as you with that. I don't know if you can relate to those symptoms or not. But very, very similar place. Or maybe you, I don't know.
I never had any symptoms of anything. I think that, no, I had the same experience when, like, my demons that I thought I'd successfully ignored, they came back to me when I was on paternity leave because I had too much time.
Yeah.
And it gets quiet. Idle hands, the devil's plaything or something like that. So the devil was playing with me for sure. My demons were winning, and I actually, 2016 maybe, could have been early 17. I had a situation where, really long story short, but I was completely out of my mind, and I wasn't sleeping, which apparently adds schizophrenic type symptoms if you just don't sleep.
Yeah, I believe they recommend sleep.
Sleep is, you actually need sleep.
Comes highly
I always say it
yeah.
on the show.
If you're
Sleep.
out of control,
Actually, we're
try sleeping.
sleep.
Try sleeping.
Have you tried 8 hours? It works.
Big part of my story too is not being able to sleep.
I stopped sleeping, and then I didn't need to sleep. I had more energy than ever, so I thought I'm just getting free energy now. But of course, your body's like dying basically, and your brain's rotting. And I stopped eating food, and I stopped drinking water even. And long story short, I'm at my brother and sister-in-law's house in Ankeny, and they had like put out this like thing that, you know, somebody was losing his shit in their house because we drove there. I thought we were under some kind of attack, and I'm like driving, you know, manically. We're going up to Ankeny, and I think the car's being attacked, and I'm just like completely out of it. My wife doesn't know what to do, so she goes up there. We have like really young and basically infants, and because I'm on paternity leave for one of those, right? But now we get up to Ankeny, and they go to sleep, and I, of course, not able to sleep even at this point, and I am just going absolutely nuts and yelling and screaming out the door and stuff. And it was like infinity cops showed up into that tiny house of the Ankeny Police Department.
Ankeny's about like West Des Moines, not a lot going on.
And I had like long hair too at the time, was all ragged out, and I was just like fucking insane. I was like skinny as fuck. Not like I look right now at all, like, and they recognized me.
Yeah.
And they took me in, and they were great. Like, I just felt so safe and taken care of by this one officer. I don't know his name.
Mm-hmm.
But he stayed with me to the hospital, and I was even like super vulnerable for a moment because I was getting scared. I was like, they took me a squad car to a hospital, and he's like, I was like, will you stay with me? And this guy was like, yeah, I'll stay with me. No, yeah, stayed with me. Apparently the reason there was infinity, like the entire Ankeny Police Department, was kind of a silly reason, but they had let them know that I was a brown belt.
I mean, there's something to that.
There was like 20 of these dudes in this kitchen.
Well, you're also from Ankeny. You could have been a brown belt in Des Moines, and you'd have got 2 cops. But
yeah, I don't know. I got extra stars for that. Like Grand Theft Auto.
A brown belt in the suburbs is a real threat.
A belt in the suburbs. That was the sitcom I was shooting. Crazy person in the suburbs with a brown belt. Had to register as a lethal weapon for sure. But no, I did 5 days in I don't even know the name of the facility. It's like right downtown, east of the river, mental health facility. And even at one point, they put me in a padded room. At another point, I tried to take the badges from the guards that were both like 300-pound dudes one night. They pinned me down, and they freaked out when I started shrimping out of control. And I was still not being like violent, which is crazy because even in my worst times, like, I'm not violent. I'm just kind of confused. Like, I just thought I need to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And now they injected me with some shit in my ass, and that was the first time I actually got knocked out.
It was probably ketamine.
Very long time. I don't know. It was something that knocked me out.
Or Haldol or something.
I don't think it was ketamine because I think that could have spun you up maybe even more. But
no, it's used a lot, and like by ambulance paramedics, used in
does that make you sleep though?
Yeah. Larger doses than what we do therapeutically, obviously.
Okay, yeah. It made me sleep. I don't remember getting K-hold, but I woke up in a padded room.
But you can go past the K-hole into the abyss. Yeah.
But I got some sleep finally, and then I was in a padded room for so long, and I had to pee so bad. I just didn't. I just held it. So it was becoming torture in this room. But when they finally let me out, I ate a pancake, and I was still
order was restored
at the time. Maybe I was vegan. But yeah, I was vegan, but they were like, well, I'm a pancakes. And I ate a pancake, and it was like the first food I'd eaten. So I'd gotten the first sleep and the first food. I started to kind of turn it around. I really should have been there for like, probably to this day.
But you were like, I'm good. I'm good.
Look now. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
5 days. And I remember like my wife came and visited me, and I was like, I don't know what is real. I just know that my love for her is real. So she tells me she wants to see me out of here. And again, just like how she said, you know, you got to get out of the army, I was just like, I'm just going to follow her lead because that's the only thing I can say is like real. because reality was like melting.
That derealization, depersonalization stuff is,
I was full on tripping.
yeah.
Like, because when you're not sleeping that much, I was just tripping, you know? And so like my demons were up as manifest, you know, like she was.
Yeah.
And, no, so she slid me a picture of my daughters. And then I took that back with me and I had this picture and I just stared at it and I go, I'm just going to get out of here. And it's like you said, Robbie, like sometimes you can make a decision even in like a really dark time, like, and confusing time for me. I was like, I'm just going to fake it. You know, I'm just going to fake it until I fucking make it. And I did. Like, I went home. I faked it until they were like, man, miraculously send this guy home. I'm faking it.
And this is
still crazy.
And this is the point of the whole podcast. We're here to tell you Jared's still faking it to this day.
To this day. I hope like you fake it until you make it. I'm probably close to making it, but I think I don't fake it anymore, but I am openly crazy now.
Yeah, that's
I sleep. And when I struggle with sleep now, it becomes a thing where I kind of let my wife take charge if she has to, or like she went to, I was having trouble sleeping last year and she went and got, she went and got a prescription. She called a doctor, got a prescription, all without my intervention. I got you sleeping pills, take this. I was like, all right. You know, so I was like,
that's a nice lady.
Yeah. You know, she has this weird thing where she keeps me alive. And I'm like, seriously, like, she's like, you're tough to deal with sometimes. I'm like, you kept me alive like a puppy.
I've had the same conversation with my wife.
At 21, I should have died at 25. I should have died at 30, 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have died a lot. But she seems, for whatever reason, she saw some good at me back at Boone High School. She was a senior, I was a junior, and I was like,
slim pickings.
This is a special woman, slim pickings.
A small town.
But she had like a halo around her to me. Like,
yeah, that's how I feel about it.
And she was my guardian angel. And I think that if God didn't send me her and my two other angels, like, he gave me exactly what I needed. He gave me the tools I needed to be here having this conversation, doing the To Hold You podcast.
Yeah. I relate to that. I mean, I relate to all of that. Not quite the 5-day, go to the loony bin thing, but there's been, I'm glad my wife never called the cops because I don't know what I would have done, honestly. I mean, I don't like most cops. I just don't. I never really did. And living grind.
So you're talking about self.
No, I do now.
Oh, okay.
I do now. Yeah. I'm at a point.
Grace.
I'm at a point in my life now where I enjoy being alive for the first time, really ever. Just raw dog in life too. Like, no help. But the aspect of my story that I've left out a lot. This is a chapter that you don't know. I think I maybe texted you the other day, but I was sober. I mean, I got sober when I was 21. I'd been hospitalized several times. I've been arrested several times as a teenager, young adult. I mean, I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. I have whatever that thing is that a person has that makes you an alcoholic or an addict. I have it. And I figured it out when I was 21. And I got sober. And I stayed sober for 14 years. When I say sober, I mean nothing. No weed, no pills, nothing for 14 years. And the trouble is I started having all these symptoms we were just talking about, after I left law enforcement. And someone told me if I ate a weed gummy that I could sleep. Everything comes back to sleep. And so I went and got I'm like, I just got to be able to sleep. I got to make all this noise stop, and I got to be able to relax and sleep. So I don't know.
Out to our sponsors.
Yeah. Dialed In Gummies or,
oh yeah. Got gummy sponsors.
I mean, those are the best. They're the best ones. But so I ended up just starting to eat gummies. I mean, that was it. That's how it started. Just eating gummies to go to sleep, and it worked. It worked really well for a little bit. It worked really well for a little bit, and that I've got that addict mindset. I'm totally like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like sober, I can do anything I want to do. It's just the way I'm wired. Not sober, I'm a monster. I become the demon. You keep talking about your demons, I become the demon. And that's, looking back, that's what happened. And it stayed just, I stuck with just weed for a while, but got to this point where, all my PTSD symptoms were causing this giant divide between me and my wife. And my wife, I feel the same way about my wife you do. She's, I don't know how I got her. I mean, I don't know how she's in my life. Like, she's just too good for me. And
The big guy.
and I couldn't, yeah, but then there's this like barrier. Like, I couldn't figure out how to get through it. I couldn't figure out how to manage these symptoms well enough because she just would get scared when I'd have these freak out episodes. I mean, one time she was in our room and I punched through the door because she like locked the door. I punched through the door to unlock it and open it because I wanted to talk to her and she didn't want to talk to me. Like, that's not me. That's insane. That's crazy. And, so I got to this point where I'm like, man, I only see two ways out of this. It's I'm going to get drunk or I'm going to disappear. Sounds like you're in the same place. Similar kind of place when you wanted to go and attack the cops or whatever. And I thought, at the time, I couldn't see a third option. Looking back, I could have done a lot of things, but I couldn't see a third option. I just thought, it's either get drunk or disappear. And so I got drunk and I quickly spiraled into full-on alcoholism. And it made everything worse and it clouded everything up. And, I was living this life where I was doing all the right things for PTSD, therapy, traditional medication. I had a trauma coach. I was doing somatic processing, ended up starting ketamine therapy, which is what ended up, that's Satan trying to interfere here. That was the devil. Get out of here. Not today, Satan. Ketamine started righting the ship. Like, it started righting the ship, didn't fix everything overnight. But I was like, at the same time, trying my ass off to get through these PTSD symptoms and like slipping further and further back into alcoholism, and got to the point where for probably the last 5 or 6 months, all of my PTSD symptoms were only happening when I was drunk, and I just wasn't realizing. I was living in this delusional world of like, I'm supposedly doing so well, keeping up appearances. I'm supposedly doing so well, and I'm supposedly trying so hard to get this under control. And then every night just getting hammered, just getting wasted to sleep, just because I can't get along with my wife. I don't, I think everybody is against me and nobody can understand it. Just this place we go with these trauma beliefs. I didn't see any other way out. And just, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, I started thinking like, I need to stop. Like, I just kept telling myself like, basically one more day, or like, if these circumstances if the stars line up, then I'll tell my wife I'm an alcoholic. Cause I'm at this point where I know I'm going to detox if I stop. And so it's like, I can't stop without her knowing, and got myself into a real rock and a hard place. And for the last several months, our relationship has just been on the rocks. We separated, we've got back together, we've separated, we got back together. And this whole time I just can't even see that it's alcoholism. And I realized that without alcohol and drugs, I don't have PTSD. I mean, we all have that, like the anxiety, or like you have that little like,
well, thing call them spirits for a reason.
I've heard this so many fucking times in the last year. I heard this from an Uber driver in Denver a couple months ago. I was out in Denver, yeah. And this guy was just weird as shit, but it's like one of those times where you get out of the car and you're like, I'm not sure that was just a guy, you know what I mean? Like he had a message. He had a message for me, and he said something like, like where are you headed? And I told him, and he's like, man, they call them spirits for a reason. That's what he said. And I'm like, fuck, I'm already like half drunk at this point. But
the detox off the alcohol.
Oh yeah, it was like 3 days of detox, and then the way I got sober the first time was AA, and so I went back to AA, and the second or third meeting I walked to, it's like day 2 or 3, I walk in and an alcoholic looks at me. He's like, have you been to the hospital? And I'm like, is it that bad? Like, it was pretty bad. I was shaky. My pulse was like 100 at a baseline for a couple days. And, I got to a point where I was like legitimately like hiding bottles in different places in my house and stuff that I never did I never did that because I got sober when I was 21, so like most of my drinking then was like party drinking, right? And this time around it escalated to that point where it's like I'm hiding bottles in my gun safe. I'm hiding bottles, in closets and cupboards and under couches and stuff like. And what's crazy is like while I was doing it, just thought it was fine. I just thought it was fine. And they absolutely do call it spirits for a reason. But looking back, there was I started at PTSD 100, like at level 100. And, I just made the decision to get back into substance use. And, that started creeping up. But then I was doing the work in bringing the PTSD symptoms down. And there was really a period, like right in this range where like everything seemed okay. Like I'm not abusing substances in a way that alarms people. And the PTSD is becoming, under control. But looking back, at least 2-3 months ago, PTSD got down to about a 10 out of 100. And the alcoholism just kept going up and up and up. And I've had a couple of the worst episodes that I've ever had in the last few months, and I just was getting so disheartened by it. But it was because of alcohol and drugs. And sober again, like happy to just be alive and exist for the first time in my life. And I don't know, I can't explain. I mean, if you guys make a decision in that moment, like I don't know how you made the decision. All I can say is I just like woke up, and maybe that's what you mean.
I made a decision to fake it, and I'm still crazy.
Yeah, I didn't just
be nice.
What do you say, Robbie? And are you drinking? Because I don't drink. I haven't drank in many years.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't say that. I need my daily dose of nicotine and caffeine.
Well, we're not saying completely sober. We gotta set the bar so high.
Yeah, no, like I don't, and I come from.
I'm saying completely sober. That's for me though. I'm not saying.
Other than like ketamine therapy, you don't do anything.
No, just ketamine therapy. Yeah,
once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, my parents both, when I was growing up, were addicts, if you will.
Me too.
Terms.
Well, my dad knew, but
my dad's. So I guess kind of lucky in that aspect. I've been kind of able to cut things out when I want to. I've always been able kind of to do that straight to well. Like just
yeah.
So I mean, now I always party, right? I guess all I really like to do. So it's like if I'm having a good time, I'll drink a bit. But I have friends who still do blow, things like that. But I don't want to touch it because that nature that I'm very much a free American. So live your life in this America.
The problem I've learned with alcohol in particular is it causes the same actions in your brain as PTSD, like a PTSD response. It shuts down your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logic, reasoning, rational decision making, and it fires up your amygdala, which is your fear center of your brain, and the hippocampus, which is responsible for like awareness in space and time. So that's why people with traumatized brains using alcohol is basically inviting a panic attack, inviting an episode. You're just opening the door for the beast to come out. Because that's the same thing that happens when you have a panic attack. That's the same 3 brain regions that are affected.
What are some things you're doing now with your coaching? Because I'm seeing the videos online, and what are some ways you're helping? And also, you shared some info with me out in the hallway on some kind of new initiatives you're working on. But I'm interested in hearing more about like what you're doing now to help others.
So because it took me so long to figure out what was wrong with me and what to do about it, don't get me wrong, having had this other realization within the last couple of weeks, I've at times felt a little hypocritical for posting videos about PTSD recovery, but I've come to the conclusion that it's part of my story, and it's part of a lot of people's story. And so I'm just an open book about it. So, ketamine therapy is number one. I mean, the top 3 things for me in terms of PTSD recovery have been a community of people who understand, a community of people who I can say things like what I just said to you guys, and you're just like, yeah, I can see how that happened. It's not like, holy shit. It's just, yeah, I get it. Ketamine therapy. Ketamine is just a wonder drug for PTSD and depression. It's even the providers that I've talked to about it don't fully understand how it works, but it promotes neuroplasticity and rewiring of the brain. And there's something with glutamate levels in your brain. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but
some more glutamate. That's the thing.
It took me from a spot where I was like pretty much actively suicidal all the time to not being suicidal at all. And it took me from a place where I was ruminating on like the depression a lot, and it stopped that rumination. And so the way I describe ketamine is like it makes recovery possible. Like it doesn't cause you to recover alone, but it for me, it made it possible. Like there's still work to be done. And then from there, EMDR and somatic processing are the two things. And I don't know what kind of viewers you have, but EMDR is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. You do it with the therapist. It mimics REM sleep. And the reason it works is because you can focus on these traumatic memories and mimic REM sleep and essentially process them faster. Because the reason our brains go into REM sleep, which REM stands for rapid eye movement, your eyes go back and forth while you're asleep, like really fast. And it's the deepest phase of sleep that you go into. That's when your brain processes memories. Typically when you go to sleep each night, you have a couple cycles of REM sleep. And that's when your memories are solidified. That's when your brain processes whatever came at it that day. But in PTSD, you typically don't sleep. Like you don't sleep well. And so you miss that day after day after day after day. And REM sleep can kind of or EMDR can mimic REM sleep and get you through some of those memories. And then somatic processing was big for me. This is what I did with my trauma coach that I hired. And she had a couple different techniques of helping to identify like where in my body the trauma was living. And that's what is misunderstood about trauma, is that it's stored in your body. It's like your body has like a tape recorder, and whatever's had come at it, these firefights you're talking about, or your experience, your common experience.
They have that book, The Body Keeps the Score, and it's really true. Like that, it's like in the hips or it's somewhere.
Yeah. And so she helped me realize that my early warning sign of an episode is a knot in my stomach, just a massive knot, like right below my rib cage. And with it being able to identify that, it started to allow me to take action earlier to avoid the escalation. Because when these episodes first started, as we all know, like it was like real quick trigger episode, like right from one to the other. But when you start to realize that it starts in your body, you can be aware of those sensations in your body. Because I just was not aware of one thing that ketamine has done for me is it's pretty much all but eliminated that knot in my stomach. Like that doesn't happen anymore. And what's crazy is I thought that's just how humans existed. I thought everybody just got knots in their stomach like multiple times a day. Like I never questioned it. But the problem with not recognizing that the trauma starts in the body is you miss those warning signs. And then by the time you realize something's happening, the trauma has activated your body to a point where you're, like I said, your prefrontal cortex shuts off, and then you don't know what you're doing. Like you don't have a chance to stop it because it all comes from the body, goes right to the brain, and you're just, your lights on, nobody home. So somatic processing was great. There's a lot of different types of ways to do it. I'm seeking some guidance on how to safely help people do that.
But remotely, or do you do them all in person, or?
So far, all my clients have been remote. Okay. And they've all come to me through social media. They've all reached out to me after seeing videos I've posted, and only about half of them are first responders. I mean, just regular people with like complex PTSD from an abusive relationship, or one girl was kidnapped when she was a kid, kidnapped and held against her will when she was a kid, and still as an adult dealing with the after effects of that. And the thing about coaching is it's not a replacement for therapy. It's what I got out of it was a great supplement to therapy, and that's kind of how I view it too. My take is like you need a community of people who get it. You need to learn how to reconnect with your body. Connecting to nature is very, very beneficial, meaning like just going out into nature without your phone and like barefoot, like touching the earth, like hippie stuff. The hippies have been right all along, Jared.
Yeah.
The hippies have been right all along, and I wish I would have recognized it a long time ago. And then I think it's pretty critical to identify blockages, right? Blockages external to your trauma recovery is what I mean by that. And like, so for me, like I was telling people to identify your blockages and just totally overlooking my own. Alcoholism is a major blockage. So that can be a blockage, or, you know, if you've got a toxic home environment, you're stuck in the matrix and your job sucks your soul out. You don't have a car, if you don't have money, you know, like these are barriers that unless you remove them, you can put in 100% effort to recover from your trauma, but you're not going to get there. And I'm not saying as a coach, I can necessarily help you remove a blockage like that, but I can help you identify it. And that's half the battle. So that's been my take.
Dude, is there a community aspect to that as well? Or is it more just like one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, I started a community, an online community. I call it Guardian Rise. It's on the school platform. I have links to join it. It's free. I have links to join it in my bio on Instagram. I'm on 5 platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Threads.
Okay.
I don't know does anybody get anything out of Threads?
You just use Threads.
It just auto cross posts, so I just let it go. But yeah, Threads. And I've had an incredible time like helping other people. It's been super helpful to me. I think it's part of how and why I came to this realization about my own alcoholism and addiction. And simply putting the word out there on social media has gotten me so many connections. I had a call today with I was telling you this earlier, the president and CEO of the Central Iowa chapter of NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And she invited me to be a member of the board of the Central Iowa chapter and offered me a bunch of crazy opportunities to speak and stuff like that. And connected with a bunch of different therapists. I've been on podcasts. I'm going on a podcast since early September called A Silent War Within. It's a couple medics from somewhere southeast. I forget what state they're in, Kentucky or something like that. And they just started a podcast about this same topic. And they saw one of my videos and just asked me to come on, and it's been great.
Podcast about a topic. That must be nice.
Podcast, yeah, Silent War Within. Yeah, it's all about first.
Season 2 is going to have a lot of mental health stuff, at least in the front half.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think what you've done, and I want to say kind of 2 things, is I noticed I was getting road rage after the Army, and I started to realize there was something coming up that if I could breathe, I could get it out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I guess, in the somatic vein there.
Yeah.
And that was really powerful when I started taking control of my anger.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I mastered it till years later, but who knows, even maybe now, you know, there's little preview peaks of anger in there.
I don't think we can control it ourselves. I think a belief in God is required to recover from these conditions.
Funny, I've had some things that I didn't feel like I could solve on my own, and I just was like, yeah, can you just help me with this one? And it's happened.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, I guess I wasn't strong enough on my own, but someone else could help me out with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing that I wanted to say is you've weaponized your vulnerability, because when you flash to that tough moment for you, when you realize that they pulled the trigger on a shotgun on you, it was that you felt vulnerable in that moment, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, and my buddy who died several years ago, who I joined the military with, my childhood best friend.
Yeah.
Which he drank himself to death, you know, so it's like, again, like, not necessarily coward's way out or whatever you want to call it, but it's like, well, we're never going to be quitters, you know, but, you know, if you drink yourself to death,
yeah,
I guess you didn't quit. You did quit drinking.
Yeah.
You weren't a quitter.
Yeah. A miserable way to go.
But it's not like a suicide. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
It isn't. But, he had learned through a lot of work he'd done, up to that point, that vulnerability was really his number one trauma, stemming back to his childhood and this and that. So it's like,
yeah,
whether it's that kidnapping victim or whatever. And now what I've tried to do with this podcast and some of the things I put out over the last few years, and what I see you doing, and you really inspire me. I tell you this, you know, because you approach it like a scientist, just like, I have this, I'm going to do this. Like, you're so matter of fact about it, and it has inspired me. But no, it's like, you've weaponized that vulnerability and made it your strength. at the end of the day. Like now that vulnerability is what opens opportunities for that board position, get in front of more people and modeling vulnerability. And it doesn't have to be, we don't have to necessarily get in a drum circle and just like cry all day. I mean, if you want to cry, this is a safe space.
I told him earlier, I didn't cry at all for years, and I probably cry once a day now.
You had emotional constipation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll just like let one fall out and I'm like, there. I think we have to do it. I think we have to cry a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's one of our other sponsors today is man crying.
Crying, yeah. Sleep and crying.
Ugly cry or just like a little something,
Yeah, if you're having a bad time, sleep or cry. Maybe cry yourself to sleep.
I feel like since I have it pent up emotionally, I sometimes will cry in my sleep.
Yeah.
I think my body's just like releasing it.
Yeah. That's just efficiency. That's some
It's just a stuff. Yeah, exactly. And then
no time when
no one has to catch me, being a bitch. I'm like, I'm a tough alpha male. Don't worry about it.
The thing for me is, Jared, I feel like I gave up. I just gave up. I thought it was the end. I thought I was going to be your buddy. Like I really thought that for a while. And then this profound experience happened to me because I was not trying really to make that happen. I have at times been trying. I try to, prior to that, I try to pray. I try to meditate, try to do breath work and go in nature. And I mean, I was trying a little bit, but in the moment when it happened, I was just ready to fight. I was ready to fight whoever came up the stairs. And then the next moment, it's like I was born again. I hate to be associated with like, the people that go jump in a river and call themselves a born again Christian or whatever.
Do that after the show.
Okay, yeah.
The Des Moines River, I hear it's clean this time.
Yeah. There's barely just a few nitrates.
You can clean your soul with those nitrates.
Yeah.
Extra nitrogen.
Yeah, you'll have cancer next week, but you'll feel good now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I feel like I've got a second chance at life, and I just am at a point where I don't give a fuck who hears my story or what they think about it, because someone out there is in that spot.
That's a whole different kind of strength, because we had that thought like, send me, and now we're being called to do the next thing, which is send me to possibly being ridiculed, possibly looking like a little bitch, possibly looking like you're whining. Like, just put the message out there. And I think that God is speaking through you, like just let it flow. And I'm always willing to be an idiot. In fact, I put on my YouTube, just so nobody gets it twisted, I put one of the many bullet points I have on there is pro level idiot. And so I've taken idiocracy to a professional level now.
Yeah.
Where I actually know what I'm doing.
Expert in idiocracy.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
I might get a PhD in it maybe eventually.
Yeah.
Give me an honorary.
I think actually most PhDs come with that.
But they don't know it. The problem is the real genius is if you know you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's also why I like to bow down to a higher power and just say, oh, I'm an idiot. Because every time I tried to make plans for my life, actually it was not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I even kind of learned these, I call them spiritual powers of like manifestation. And I started manifesting things that I thought I wanted. And it turns out those were bad things for me and almost destroyed me in my life.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like you can't escape your demons. You can't really necessarily slay and kill them.
No, you learn to hang out with them.
Yeah, you can only just make them like friends.
You just laugh
like
at
say on a leash, like the,
yeah.
Hopefully even working for me to a degree.
Yeah.
But at least not working against me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, I could actually see a physical manifestation of one of my demons walk into my room at night, and at this point, I don't care.
The sleep paralysis one?
Oh yeah, I've had every sleep problem known to me.
Fuck. I had a sleep paralysis last year.
Yeah.
Where I thought some type of special ops team or something was coming into my house.
This is why I don't have guns by my bed anymore.
And I couldn't move.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't move. And I tried to yell and something, and I had that sleep paralysis going on. And to me, like my door's getting kicked in, and I was at the same time, I was like, yeah, this is probably how. Obviously, I know that we were terrorizing people. I don't say terrorists, I say insurgents. Because I'm like, I'm not sure I wasn't. terrorist, maybe once or
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up.
I might have been a terrorist.
I wanted to bring that up to you because like I said, I really wanted to join the Marine Corps and I got talked out of it. And now at this point, looking back, I think I would have a real moral dilemma on my hands having been involved in those wars. And I don't, maybe that's a tough topic to bring up to a couple guys that were there, but is that stuff you guys deal with?
What do you think, Robbie? You want to take that one?
I mean, no. I mean,
No, he doesn't want to take it.
no, it's not a moral dilemma for you that I've served in Afghanistan. I think the moral dilemma comes in like how we kind of left Afghanistan, right? Like we all knew that needing to get out. Like in 2008, we were wondering why the fuck we were there. I mean, I was attached to a Special Forces detachment. Like I said, that they weren't probing the border, right? We all knew Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan, and they weren't going across. We weren't facilitating them crossing, so it's like we did kind of have this idea like what we were doing that. We knew that we had to pull out, but we also knew what we were signing up for. Like we weren't drafted. We signed up in a time of war. We knew what we were getting into, Iraq, Afghanistan, and had potential to deploy. So you couldn't really say.
I mean, I didn't have all the information I have now. Like I was putting bits and pieces together, but now I feel like I have a much better understanding that we were actually fighting enemies of another country on their behalf.
Yeah, you can say it.
We got to keep it YouTube friendly.
Well, yeah, that's
You're gonna have a friendly.
We might have a Rumble only edition.
You might have a three.
We can take a clip, and that's for Rumble or for special subscribers. But no, I mean,
You might have a three-letter fighting force that starts with I.
or Israel. We were fighting Israel's enemies.
Yeah,
Period.
that's
Police wants to talk to me about why that is. We can have that conversation.
It's become incredibly evident in the last couple of years.
I don't know if I'm fully confident saying Israel. So
Well, that you're then naming a country, but there's
right, so we'd have to say Netanyahu, right? So like, who is he working for? Because obviously he can't. Like this little country in the Middle East isn't, and he's running the show. Like if you really think about it, right? It would have to be, and this may get us all capped, right? But it has to be deep.
Whatever. At this point, whatever.
I've had an interesting perspective by being in the military industrial complex. I was a college professor for a while, kind of the college industrial complex, but then inside of major financial institutions too. So I started realizing what we can say for sure is that if there's this documentary, I think it's called Banker Wars, and there's this whole thing, but for sure, there was a little infinite money glitch that people discovered many years ago, hundreds of years ago, that if you spin up wars, you can infinite money glitch and make money off both sides, tons of money.
So I can't think of it off the top of my head. If I remember, I'll tell you. But it's where like the spirituality will be ran by the Vatican, finances will be ran by the UK or Dutch banks, right, where all that started, and then military power originate in the United States. And with those, it's like a three city state or something like that. Like that's because I can only think of, right, all the conspiracy stuff, but Israel just being the mask, right, being the Obama of the situation. Because we all knew Obama wasn't calling in shots.
Yeah.
Like we knew he was listening to somebody else. He was just wearing the face.
I think Biden was in control though.
We haven't had a non-owned president since at least JFK. Yeah, and they took care of that.
Yeah.
Super scary, modern, what's happened. And super scary. Where like, you do want to kind of think about retiring to a 100-acre homestead.
Mm-hmm.
I think being here and just like setting our example here and just, I think the way that we rebel and be defiant now is to have our families and to own our property and to push back and try and escape the matrix. I think all the things, and have an armory, why not, right here?
We'll just live in peace.
Just live in peace, but, be ready to stand up for yourself and building community, like not worrying about, like trying to honestly be as kind of your locus of control, like you said, yourself, trying to master that, take care of your family, build community around you, build resiliency by doing business with each other, helping each other up, uplifting each other, supporting each other. You've said community already, but like, yeah, you really, nobody can do anything alone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you certainly can't. You can't tackle these problems that we've had.
And I kind of had like jiu-jitsu for me to kind of do a hard pivot maybe, but jiu-jitsu for me was always a chance to shut my brain off and just flow on the mats and have someone have a problem in front of me that I can't think of anything else. And but what happened is it kept forcing me out of my house into communities. And so then I started making friends. Like I met you guys through jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like choose where your life is hard at, right? Or life chooses where your life fun.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. I think that if we choose our suffering, then we have less of the unchosen.
Yeah.
And whether that's being in shape or whatever you want to call it. But no, jiu-jitsu, it checks all kinds of boxes. Like it has the community aspect, like I said. It has practicality to it. It has that mental challenge to it, and it has that physical challenge to it. And I don't think jiu-jitsu is necessarily hard. Like I'm having fun when I'm doing jiu-jitsu, but I
That's a black belt.
sometimes I get smashed, you know.
Near Jim.
But yeah, I'm not going to Henzo's. They'll smash me there. So no, I go there. I try to go there like once a week. Haven't been this week yet.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu for me is that just like Evan said, and to be honest, I got a whole bunch of regret that I didn't find it earlier. And my uncle said, right when I got out of Afghanistan, I got out of the army, because I was kind of going through it. And I didn't know what to do. He was probably the smartest person in my life. So I asked him, what do I do? And he didn't have any answers for me, but he said that if you progress physically, mentally, you have to follow. And I think that's probably some words that I wish I would have heeded.
Well, like Jake was saying, like the stress being in the body, like, and another thing I say is like, we get in fight or flight mode, so let's fight.
Like, yeah.
Like your body is getting stressed. It thinks that there's a bear going to attack it. Go get a big burly bear in the jiu-jitsu mats. Get attacked.
Pretty, no? When you find one of those,
And then your body goes, finally, I got attacked. Thanks shit.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a modern, but the way we live now, we're not already that, like I said earlier, you become too warm in the blanket of security. We don't have to worry about things here.
that's part of why I say go to reconnect with nature. I mean, that's the same thing.
The most likely, right, thing that could happen to you.
You just did Midlands too. You gonna do any more competing, or you just
Yeah, I think
you qualified for the Midlands, and
I'm gonna compete probably once at every skill out. How do we?
what weight class were you doing?
What's this?
All right,
175.
come up to advanced 75.
I'm gonna. So what? I'll be. So I really just.
But you're a white belt.
Yeah. So next will be probably intermediate. I want so.
Oh, because you did beginner.
Yeah, and then probably give it a good couple years. You know, smash by Bubba. I know Bubba.
Oh yeah, he's good at. He likes to smash.
And then give him one you go with advance. To be competing with all the younger guys.
I gotta get back on the mats. That's why I texted you the other day.
You told me that, and that's why I brought you here today to have an intervention.
It's okay.
And get you back on the mats.
Hey, well, God, in your,
You know, we got mats here.
Yeah, just roll them out. Keep the cameras going.
you'd see a lot of strength. I'd be using a lot of strength right now. I've forgotten.
Jared first.
I've rolled with Jared enough. He's too bendy. I don't.
He'll get the.
I'm gonna take the flag down and use it to choke.
Yeah,
I was rolling with some guys in the army, and we rolled across a blanket, and I grabbed one end of it as we're rolling, and then I grabbed the other end of it, and then I got across collar with the blanket. But there's a lot of ways to choke people. Like we could use this cord. These cords. You can even use a T-shirt. This is
why I always keep a pistol on me around Jared.
But like if somebody's on you, like say like kind of open guard looking situation, and they have just a regular T-shirt, you can't choke the T-shirt unless you roll the whole thing up.
Yeah,
you have to roll it up, and then you can get cross collar.
Are you willing to answer my question I texted you the other day on camera? If you were to have a membership at one.
Oh, if I was to have membership at one jiu-jitsu academy in Des Moines, what would it be? Why would I answer that on camera?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not willing to.
I don't know. It's a personal choice. I tell people
It's a schedule.
the gym's out. I mean, you were at Des Moines Jiu-Jitsu, so I feel like
Schedule doesn't work.
oh, the schedule's not good. What do you want? Morning or
Yeah, morning.
The morning jiu-jitsu pretty open.
they do, but they don't have that morning. Like, so you have
Well, what time in the morning?
I mean, early would be good.
5:30, 6:30. Bubba has Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And
Yep.
that's it.
Henzo does the red eye or whatever I would call it.
5:30.
30, 06:30. Go get smashed.
05:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
Is that too early for you?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Maybe.
First class is free.
How early do you want?
I mean, maybe not that early. Like just
How early is like?
so I was
Precision
Now we're
Do they have grappling have a morning?
yeah, they do. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that. I like Des Moines. I really like Des Moines, but it's just it's just the schedule. And then they have a lot of classes.
You find somebody to just do private lessons if you're going to be so picky about the.
I'm gonna need some more money, and I'm venturing away from real estate into mental health. So, yeah, I've been thinking about Precision. It's close to my house too.
Yeah, Oregon's great.
Yeah, I went to the open mat there. That was I think that was the last time I rolled.
They have a Friday. You could even go like Friday night. They have an open mat, like a open mat, like anybody can come.
Yeah,
And Zozo was doing that, and now they do that too. So it's a little bit of gotta pick one, but they're doing that on Friday nights.
yeah.
And you just had a beginner win double gold, right?
Is it no?
Nate.
Nate? You just say Nate, and I say Noah. He's a jacked guy with the mustache.
You know, I refused to even like acknowledge that Jordan existed for a while because during the riots he was teaching BLM people how to. I've gotten over that.
It's true, but I feel like we all went on weird political journeys, especially at that time.
Yeah.
No, he just felt better. You
Well, it's not,
Yeah, but you're the cop standing on the line, and then you find out somebody's teaching them how to choke people out. Like it was not a great feeling.
make sure you use the microphone over there.
you're in Afghanistan and find out the guys were trained by the CIA.
Yeah,
That's exactly the same thing.
that's a rude awakening.
Just keeps it spicy.
Yeah, no, I'm in awe because you had 300 versus 10, and then you had 500 liberals versus a couple cops in different scenarios. It's almost harder when you can't just shoot them. You got to use all these policing tactics. And
Yeah, it would be much harder if we couldn't shoot.
you had to call. Did you call in some support for that one?
No, plenty of story on that. So, when things get too crazy, right? Command takes over. Like, usually I would be calling in assets at that time. Our lieutenant shot all of our 60 handheld mortars, like within the first 30 seconds. So we had no 60 mortar.
Oh, he shot his load early.
And he busted.
Bust his load.
Then did.
Didn't nobody. Typical lieutenant behavior. If you're in the military, you'll get it.
Hey, there's another similarity to policing. Cops lose their mind at lieutenant.
And then we had,
You don't work your way up to lieutenant, though, in the military.
yeah,
You're usually fresh out of college
Oh, really?
because you go down the enlisted path or the... So you're saying they lose their mind there.
Oh, you're talking about like that.
They're like cherry... They might as well be lower enlisted, but they have charge. The shift command. No, in the field, they're in command. They're like...
No, in the cop world, once it's like the best street cops can go be great sergeants and then they become a lieutenant. And it's
So when I was RTO, which is radio telephone operator, like they would say I'm like the lieutenant babysitter. But I had a really good air quote lieutenant because he was a captain and he had a ranger tab. And so shout out to Captain Baez who got blown up at the end of the deployment and they fused his foot back together and they're like, let's just cut it off. But he opted for like 20 surgeries and then it still didn't bend in all the directions. It was all fused up. And he still went and completed a selection course for like this intelligence unit. I'm like, dude,
there are some guys. That's like my buddy who's the JTAC guy. He was a Marine. He was a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps and switched over to do that. He went during training I think they call it, like you go to TAC P training, right? And then later you become a JTAC or something.
I don't know that path that well.
so like, JTAC is the closest thing to like Army Port Observer. Like if I wanted to clear, like if I wanted to call in a B-2 bomber, right? I couldn't do it. It would have to be a JTAC, and I would have to talk to him clear hot. So like in that situation, I would talk to the JTAC. JTAC would talk to the bomber. right? Like a situation like where there was potential that like a B1 bone crusher, right, was on station. They had the ISR capability where they could see what they were shooting at and they could see friendly position. Then sometimes JTAC didn't have to get involved and we could drop with ground commander's initial. More time than not, if it's Air Force aircraft, then a JTAC has to be on the ground talking. They go through like it's a bit more rigorous training, but an FO can get trained all the same stuff, right? Like just need to know your 9 line, go to JFO, and you really need to. And that just tells you how to set up.
I remember the 9 line, like, because of being R2. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the CAS 9.
Location, frequency.
What are your mandatory readbacks?
The number of evacs.
Yeah, he's on.
S is, what is S? I have an acronym. S is something as well. Support.
I don't remember the
situation.
I know like just the mandatory readbacks, line 4 and 6 on a CAS 9 line. So that way you know that the air guy is going to drop a bomb out of your position. And so it's like, I think line 4 would be your location. Line 6 is, I know there's 2.
Don't worry about line 6. You don't need all of those problems.
Just need to know where they're at. You're ready to go.
Well, my point was, my buddy who did that had like a well-established Marine Corps career and was like about ready to be done. And he was like damn near pushing 40 and went to switch over to do that. And during the training, he like pushed himself to the point where his kidneys shut down and his legs wouldn't work, and so he had to go to the hospital. And then he just got better and went back and he started over and did it again and finished it.
This is the type of shit that when people say they see me doing things and they're like, "Oh, you do a lot of things, and you're doing great with this and that, and you got great motivation or something." I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't understand. Like, I'm a bitch too. Like, there's real men out there."
Yeah,
I feel like I still built sometimes. Like, some people are just built fucking different.
I walk around saying everyone deals with trauma at some level, but guys like that, I don't think they do. I don't think it affects them. They're like psychopaths.
They are become trauma destroyer for world.
They're like useful psychopaths. I mean, I honestly like when I got at the time that I got sober the first time, I mean, my life was on fire. I was miserable. I was not going anywhere, and I stayed sober for 14 years. Like I went to AA and did all that, and it just blows. It's still, I haven't fully wrapped my mind around the fact that somehow through PTSD, like in trauma brain, I was like, it's a good idea to try that again. Like I proved it to myself when I was 21, and then somehow in there I was just hurt. I was just hurting so bad that I was like, I need something to numb the pain, and
Yeah, I started numbing myself with various things, even though it wasn't alcohol, but weed was one of those too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, I wasn't just getting high. I was like, let's hit this pin until I don't know I exist anymore.
Yeah. I got to a point where I was sprinkling keef on every bowl, like just all in on, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every bowl, like smoking like 4 or 5 bowls, like almost back to back.
Which also, it's a little sneakier than alcohol, but it also completely fucks your system up.
Yeah.
You know, like anything, what I tell people is anything that gives, like a substance, it takes. You may not know how much debt you're getting into, but all these things that give are asking for something to take.
Yeah. And it's like at some level I knew that, but it's like when you get to that point, you only see, I'm going to get fucked up or I'm going to kill myself. Like you're going to keep going.
Like what you said, like the third option is, don't get fucked up or kill myself.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
I couldn't see it. And I don't know why. I just thought I thought we've talked about this. I thought for a long time, if anybody knew how I was acting during those episodes, like I'd wind up alone or committed somewhere. But that's the weird dichotomy of PTSD is you can go, you know, even in the worst of it, it's still maybe 20% of the time you're crazy. It's like you live in these in 2 worlds. You've got a foot in 2 worlds where you go to your job for 8 hours and you're fine, and then you go home and something sets you off and you blow up and punch your door, and it's like, am I crazy or am I not? You know, like that's one of the hardest things I've had to deal with.
I think it'd be easier if they would just let me stay on one mode. So thank you guys for being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Opening up and like sharing these stories, and fucking love doing these because something about getting the cameras out and the microphones, like I learned more about people than I ever did before because we're just sitting down. Like I usually don't interrogate people. It's a friend, you know, so.
Nice to meet you. Tell me your whole life story.
Yeah, exactly. But like what you guys just displayed today is exactly what needs to be displayed. You guys didn't pull any punches, and you guys said it like it is, and in all the vulnerable sides, or even the, hey, I like doing car chases, like sides and stuff like that. So
that's a good time. I don't care who you are.
we're gonna do one after the show. I'll pick a different vehicle. We can do a foot chase
I think I can get away. I think I could get away from you.
and just run.
I think either scenario ends with you crashing. Honestly.
Catch my car.
Yeah, I think you were. Yeah,
I'm not a professional driver.
that's what I'm saying. Whether you're chasing me or I'm chasing you, I think you're probably gonna crash.
It's got good acceleration, but yeah. It's not really. I don't know. You have technique on me. You're gonna pit maneuver me.
If I could get close enough.
Yeah.
On a truck. So
Those are hard to pit. Those are hard to pit.
take it off road. Into your cars.
I got a Kia Sportage. God damn it, that's all wheel drive.
But you already mentioned your channel, so I just wanted to get one more plug in too because, like I said, it's inspirational. It's awesome watching what you're doing, and you're just getting started, and you're already getting such a good response. But why don't you give us one more, like where to find you and what group we can join again on school and all of that to kind of get linked up.
I've overcomplicated this before, but the easiest place to find me is just look me up on Instagram at Jake Belay. Just my name at Jake Belay. I've got a link in my bio with links to. I mean, it links to all my other socials if you want to look at the same stuff on a different platform, or you can schedule a free consultation with me if trauma informed coaching appeals to you. It's not for everybody. Or if you go to that link in bio, there's a tab called Guardian Rise Community. It's a free community for any trauma survivors to join. I do a couple group calls a week. One's open to anyone in the group, and the other one's just for first responders. I would love to get a veteran group together. I just don't have that experience, and it's been a little harder to make that happen because I don't resonate with veterans the way I do with first responders. But yeah, at Jake Belay on Instagram. You can just DM me too if you don't want to go through the link in bio nonsense. But
Warrior Rise. What was it? Warrior Rise?
Guardian
Rise.
Yeah.
I said it wrong already.
Yeah.
Are you doing link in bio? Are you using link in bio? Or are you using like Campsite, or what's your
Linktree?
Linktree? Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Linktree.
Yeah.
I actually made one in the CRM there in Go High Level.
I know you did. But that stuff is so complicated to me that
I can just send the template into your account.
Yeah.
If you want it, but yeah, then you're able to go like fully unlimited and like drop videos in there and do all kinds of stuff because it's like a web page, but it's just this big. So any web builder you have, just do it that big.
Yeah.
Now it's link in bio.
And this is very simple to you, but this is time consuming.
It took me a long time.
I've had a few things going on in my life lately, but maybe it's time to freeze up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they nickel and dime you, but I don't know why I just thought I'd talk about fucking websites.
Linktree's free. I use the free version. I don't free one. I don't care
I
that
have free Campsite, or I did have Campsite, and I liked that one.
Yeah. I've had good luck with the Linktree.
Yeah.
I do still have email deliverability issues with GHL too.
Robbie, you're not plugging anything.
No.
He's not here to plug anything except our sponsor, Sleep.
Henzo Gracie Des Moines.
Come choke him.
Be there every day.
You go to the morning class?
Sometimes, yeah. Not the bubber class, yeah. You go
Super early.
plan on we're making that.
They got like an 11 too.
One more jiu-jitsu.
11. They have a noon.
And noon.
Yeah.
Okay.
One World.
Outfitters.
Huh?
Dojo Outfitters, plug them.
Will they sponsor you, or what? You just plugging them?
No, they're
He's fishing for sponsors.
Hey, we're actually, if you can't tell, we're open to sponsors.
Yeah.
We don't have any sponsors today.
Yeah. Well, except
I
for
would love to shoot a commercial for any of you fine business owners out there.
SD by Jet.
GSD. Yep. We're going to bring some GSD in here, and we might bring Jet in here.
I wanted to put a little, I still got some cans. I bought a whole bunch from last time I seen them.
Yep. He's a Matrix escape artist for sure. He's doing this thing with the GSD.
Hey, is your tree guy? He's still in touch with the tree guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got some tree work.
Ryan Green, MMA fame. He owns the tree service.
Ricky Glad.
From the get.
Still plugging people. I love this shit. Ricky Glenn, Zero Jiu-Jitsu, best jiu-jitsu in Marshalltown, hands down.
Iowa.
Hands down.
How far does this go? You know, Dana White, UFC. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, stretch it.
And our other sponsor, Vulnerability and Man Tears.
Sleep and crying.
Shout out to Sleep, Crying, and Man Tears. That's it for fucking season 2 is off with a banger. We had a long break, 2 years almost, and people are like, oh, you gave up on the podcast, saying, fuck no. We're back with a bang. Thanks guys for helping me kick it off. I just had to do a little break. I had too much going on.
Yeah.
We're back. We got Jiu-Jitsu Photos himself back helping us out. Brian Conley. That's why we got all these beautiful cameras around us.
Oh, I got
Subspectrum. I got Excision Grappling.
I got another.
We're shout out Subspectrum again.
I got another thing to plug. Not my thing, but 1042 Project is a local nonprofit that helps first responders in all phases of their career. It's a faith-based organization run by a guy who has helped me a ton. His name's Dan Deffenbaugh. He has a very similar story to mine, but
Where's he out of?
he was an Indianola cop.
Oh, so he's local.
Yeah, but he's here. 1042 Project. It's great. That's whose podcast I've been on a couple times. So it's 1042project.org if you or anyone you know is a first responder who's struggling.
Nice, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much, guys. I think that I get a lot of feedback from people about these podcasts helping, and I honestly think you guys help some people today. So thanks for opening up. I'll see you guys on episode 2.